6 o'clock. Good morning. Live from the Circus Sports at the Bank Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Spurs bounce back to take Game 3 of the NBA Finals, 115-111 over the New York Knicks, led by Victor Wembanyama, who had 32 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists on the night. The Spurs win gave New York their first loss in 46 days and also ended their 13-game playoff win streak. The Spurs now trail the series 2-1 with Game 4 set for Wednesday night back at Madison Square Garden. NFL news yesterday. The Chiefs are re-signing former Titans cornerback L'Jarius Sneed to a one-year deal worth up to $5 million per his agents, the Katz brothers. Sneed is headed back to Kansas City after a 2-year stint in Tennessee, where Sneed played just 12 games for the Titans as he struggled to stay on the field due to injuries. And coming up tonight, the Stanley Cup Finals continues. Game 4 on the line in Las Vegas as the Golden Knights hold the 2-1 series lead over the Carolina Hurricanes. Puck drop tonight is at 7 o'clock on ABC. The Hurricanes are the slight favorites to win tonight at just minus 115 odds. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour number 1, getting started on your Tuesday morning edition of Ramon and Will. Good morning and welcome in. 615-737-1045 is our number. What is the absolute latest in Knoxville on one of the biggest in-state recruitments in years? Austin Price joins us at 8:20 to tell us about the latest between Tennessee and DGG. It's David Gabriel Georges. Steve Palazzolo of the 33rd team and Check the Mic joins us at 9:20. We've got a series in the NBA as the Spurs take a game last night in Madison Square Garden in front of a very rich and very star-studded crowd.
Wow.
And we begin this morning with Tennessee Titans OTA practice beginning a very busy week for the team with open media practices yesterday, today, and Thursday. Lots of takeaways, observations, and any question that you have. We'll try to answer them in the F and Beg chat, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. On this Tuesday, June the 9th, good morning, gentlemen. How are we?
What up, Will? Nice blue hat, man. USA. USA, USA.
I'm ready. I'm so ready. I watched the first episode of U.S. Against the World last night.
Did you?
On HBO.
Okay.
At halftime of the Knicks-Spurs game, which I watched from buzzer to buzzer.
Nice.
Some are calling me a hero. I'm not, but some are calling me a hero for watching 48 minutes of a game in the National Basketball Association. However, I did put them on the laptop and put the U.S. men's national team documentary on HBO on the main TV for the third quarter. Man. And then I switched it back for the fourth quarter.
Listen, you're just doing your job, man. That's all you're doing, man. When you eventually get the big house, okay, all right, you're going to put like multiple TVs up is what I'm proclaiming for, professing for you already, man. I thought about that at one point in time, but we got a traditional living room. It's only room for one television or whatever it is at the time. So, but I also I'm a phone watcher and a television watcher as well, man. I've lived that life. I didn't watch the soccer match last night, though.
It wasn't a game. It's a documentary. But you would enjoy. I recommend it to anybody who wants to get in the mood for World Cup and for U.S. men's national team. Very good at bridging the gap between diehard fans who know the players, who want to know more, good personality pieces. It's got a lot of Hard Knocks vibes to it.
Okay.
Hard Knocks being for the diehard who knows everyone and for the casual who just wants to learn more about the people and understanding of what all of this means. It takes you all the way back to the last World Cup.
Okay.
So they have been following the U.S. men's national team for 4 years since they were in Qatar. There are some cameos from Nashville SC head coach B.J. Callahan.
Shout out.
In this documentary. Apparently there are more of those coming on the way. I've only watched the first episode so far. But very good, great cinematography, very well done, very raw footage of some good moments, some bad moments, and I highly recommend it. It's really good.
I have to check that out. I'm deep into close to the finish line to finishing Mad Men. So whenever I got a sliver of time after working out or right before the game, or I put on 3HL a little bit yesterday while also watching Mad Men too. That is probably one of the best, weirdest shows I feel like I've watched in a very long time.
How many times have you watched it?
This is my second time through.
Okay.
I don't remember it being this weird the first time through. Betty Draper, well, she's not Betty Draper anymore. Her and her relationship with her daughter is by far one of the craziest things ever. And Don he's a psycho.
I've never watched it.
It's good.
You know how much I am into television shows, and I'm actually kind of surprised I haven't watched it.
You would like this one, I feel like.
I'll get around to it eventually.
It's good. It's in line somewhat with how long the storyline can be or what Succession was. You know, like it's certain things that lead up to
one
it.
One of my all-time favorites.
It's an HBO show, so there it is. Yeah. We're both locked in on HBO Max at this point, clearly. Okay?
Absolutely. I think I have that for my whole family. I'm the one who buys the HBO Max.
My brother-in-law got a profile on mine, bumming your HBO is what he named his profile.
Well, you have one on my Paramount Plus named Ramon the Freeloader. And then our very good friend Josiah has one called Definitely Not Schaefer. And then there's me.
And then there's you.
And then I also have other friends, but they just use mine, or I think sometimes they log in as you to watch other soccer matches. So.
Listen, either way, we appreciate you. If you need one of my subscriptions, just let me know. All right,
you do plenty for me. I got you.
No doubt about it, man. But good evening yesterday, though, man. Game was on, and of course, being at Titans practice. That was a good highlight yesterday.
We will get to Game 3 of the NBA Finals here in about 15 minutes, but we do begin with yesterday's Titans OTA. Jim Wyatt had Cam Ward at 9 of 18 on the day, including 4 of 6 and 7 on 7 and 5 of 12 in team periods with an interception. Oh. Somehow the world didn't end. It was a 4th and 15 play where he was trying to get the ball downfield to Gunnar Helm. Kevin Winston Jr. picked him off. Ramon, your number one takeaway from yesterday's practice was what?
Whenever Dable wants to, he can scheme up Carnell Tate down the field. That is, I think, something he's going to have in his back pocket. Something that's going to be able to grow, but also a threat that to defenses that I don't know if this team has had just a concrete guy that can go down the field, that can say, go make a play. I learned that yesterday. I know some people are speaking about Cam's and completions and stuff like that, but I'm viewing the way OTAs is, you got to piece this thing together, and that's one of those pieces I feel like Brian Dable has kind of figured out, and watching Carnell Tate be able to get downfield and be a deep threat for you, because like I know, watching their offenses the last few times you've seen it, there's so much that happens underneath and on the sidelines that having that will throw defenses off.
Another deep bomb to Carnell Tate over corner Micah Robinson, a gain of 50-plus, as written by Jim Wyatt at TennesseeTitans.com. He said it would have been a touchdown in a game. One of 2 catches for Carnell Tate, who's got a team-high 12 grabs in 3 open OTAs so far. Again, that's just what we can see and just what reporters like Jim Wyatt can report on. How difficult, Ramon, for you is it to go all the way to total excitement on Carnell Tate when, with all due respect to Micah Robinson, who is a solid special teamer for the Titans last year, the vast majority of these catches are against Micah Robinson?
I know. I felt bad for Micah Robinson, man. But this is the way I look at this situation. I actually had an in-depth conversation with a high schooler this past weekend when I was working on my boys. I told him, I said, in order for you to get good at your job, at your position, you have to master your teammates first in this time of the year. Carnell Tate's doing this. I don't care who he is. If he can see that I can go beat this guy consistently, or I find ways to beat him over and above, or break out on routes, or heck, the way last year, right? Cody Barton baited Cam into getting an interception on him. These things right here, like, this is where it starts. You can't get mad at him for beating Micah Robinson. He's there. He's a teammate. Yeah. At this point in his life, he's a pro. I have no issues with it whatsoever. Now, transition and taking that next step is a part of this as well. I personally believe in this route that they're going about practicing. Like, it's okay to say, I beat my teammate despite who he is, because I know if that guy has the ability to get you, he will. And that guy can make plays. He's not on a roster just as a turnstile. He's on a roster because they feel like they can find something in him, whether it be special teams or he has to come in and make the team and he makes plays during the season. Carnell might just be that much better at this point in time. But I have no qualms whatsoever about him beating Micah Robinson as opposed to him beating Sauce Gardner.
Right. I mean, just because he is going up over Micah Robinson right now doesn't necessarily mean that he wouldn't also be doing that to Alontae Taylor and or Cordell Flott.
Exactly.
And he just hasn't had the opportunity to.
He got the opportunity.
From what we've seen in open practice.
For sure. And that's the beauty of this time of year. That's why OTAs are part of it. The other side of it, too, to stack on top of this is also still a confidence builder for a guy like Carnell Tate. He know how to go high point the ball. And the other part about it as well, the way he's going to go get the ball, if my eyes serve me correctly, he's up higher than everybody else when the ball's in the air.
He is.
Look at the steal shot.
No question.
The steal shot is out there. Like, he's up there.
So here's the way I like to view this, and I will give credit where credit's due to Josh Pate, who uses this analogy. He uses it more for teams. I think it's applicable to players as well. He always makes the analogy that if Usain Bolt was running in a race at, let's say, T.W. Hunter Middle School.
Come on, baby.
And he beat everyone in the race. Of course, it would look like Usain Bolt is world class. Like, wow, that's incredible. Do we invalidate Usain Bolt just because he didn't have great competition, with all due respect to middle school track runners who would be at T.W. Hunter Middle School? No, of course not. He's still Usain Bolt. Yeah. You just don't know yet until you put him next to great competition, until you put him next to Justin Gatlin and Christian Coleman, two Vols who beat him in his last ever race, but that's okay. Who's counting? In the same way, it's not a one-to-one comparison. He uses that more for teams, like talking about like a Texas Tech.
Right.
You know, like we just don't know until you bet on them in the big race. But I think it applies a little bit to players as well. Like, yeah, Carnell Tate might be in the middle of the pack when you really do put starting level defensive backs out there. However, he might just be so good at this and at high pointing the football, and this is kind of what he does, and it's also what he did at Ohio State, that the vast majority of corners are going to have a difficult time winning those battles in the air for him for the football. Again, not a one-to-one comparison. It's a better analogy for teams. However, I don't think you can invalidate what Carnell Tate's doing because he's beating the guy in front of him.
Exactly. We can't.
It's context. I think it's part of the story, but it also isn't the story.
Yeah, and I can agree. Like, okay, well, there'll probably be a all-pro safety at some point in time that'll read that a little bit better in those moments right there than Kevin Winston did because he was around the picture as well.
Well, and the biggest thing is pressure on Cam, too. Yeah. He's not always going to have time to sit back there in the pocket after a defensive end's already run right past him, which would have been a sack in a real football game, and you have the ability to just chuck it deep.
But what we know right now is Cam has deep ball threat completion ability, right, and Carnell Tate has deep ball play make ability downfield too. So that's the other part of it for me is you go with what you're presented with, right? Nobody's mad. Well, if that's the case, then we got to look at the Patriots versus Denver last year and say, well, you know what? The Patriots wouldn't have made it if not Jackson Dart, but if, what's his name wasn't in the game? Golly, what is the quarterback name?
Bo Nix.
If Bo Nix wasn't in the game. Like, you think the Patriots feel bad about making it to the Super Bowl because Bo Nix was hurt?
Definitely
These are the things you just have to deal with in these moments.
Good comparison.
The availability of your starting corners aren't there right now. Now, when they show up for minicamp, and if he's doing these same things, he becomes challenged. That's the next step for Carnell. I have no problem with that whatsoever. This time of the year is crucial for guys like him. You want him to get acclimated, Will, and feel like he can make NFL caliber plays, and he has been. And when you look at the picture, it's all hands on the ball.
It always is. It always is. He is a hands catcher.
Hands catcher, bro.
Consistently, yeah. Live for the 104.5 The Zone Circa Sports Studio, Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circa Sports at Kentucky Downs. You can jump in at 615-737-1045. We've got a series between the Knicks and the Spurs. San Antonio battles back last night. We'll talk about it next.
Genesis Diamonds, they take financing rates all the way down to zero. And right now, only at Genesis, pay nothing down and get zero interest for 5 years on any purchase. A handcrafted Tacori ring with a GIA certified diamond is only $100 a month. They got wedding bands, colored bands, fashion necklaces, just $40 a month. You can pick any item, pay zero down, and spread your payments over 5 years, even the sales tax. How about that amazing $3,000 pair of diamond stud earrings? Well, you can get it for just $50 a month. Luxury pre-owned Rolex watches are included in this as well. While interest rates are still high everywhere else, Genesis is offering real interest rate relief, and you need to take advantage of this. 0.0 for 5 years, all the way to the year 2030. This makes everything more affordable, and it's just the smartest way to buy. Don't miss this amazing offer. All natural and lab-grown diamonds are included now through June 30th at Genesis Diamonds on approved credit, so see store for details, but they're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hour number one on your Tuesday morning edition of Ramon and Will. Austin Price still to come at 8:20. Steve Palazzolo of Check the Mic via the 33rd team at 9:20. Your phone calls at 615-737-1045 and more on yesterday's Titans OTA practice coming up in hour two as well. But we need to spend some time on the San Antonio Spurs, Ramon Foster, because they take a 115-111 win over the New York Knicks on a very star-studded evening inside Madison Square Garden. Area 51. That's 5, Stephon Castle, and 1, Victor Wembanyama, became the first pair of teammates aged 22 or younger to each score 20 points or more in an NBA Finals game. Victor Wembanyama gets 32 points, 8 boards, 6 assists, and 3 blocks. Castle goes for 23, 5, and 5. New York's 13-game postseason winning streak is over. What did you take away last night?
Man, it's going to be a battle. If the Spurs can get another one at home, another one in Madison Square Garden, it's going 7. I pray it doesn't. I shouldn't pray about sports like this. I really hope to the just basketball GAWD's gods that it goes to 7, man.
Save those prayers for the Vols this fall and for the Titans, of course.
Straight up, both of them, right? We're locked in at this point.
Yeah.
But it was good. The adjustment that needed to be made was there. Again, we spoke about how the Knicks were riding high with all the momentum. They hadn't lost in the postseason so far, or in 13 games, they hadn't lost. And to be at this point back home with all the stars you mentioned, everybody was out. They had Jeter and friggin' Eli Manning sitting right next to each other, okay? Timothy Chalamet, I mean, anybody you can name of was there. I got a bone to pick about one courtside guy, okay? DJ Khaled, go back to Miami, okay?
Get off your phone,
Get off your damn phone, man.
What are we talking about? I know.
All those New Yorkers in there who are true New York Knicks fans, and you out here on your phone with a shiny top of the man, go on back to Miami, okay? Let the people who enjoyed the New York Knicks sit courtside like Jay-Z and everybody else. But
which, you know, by the way, Eli Manning's wife is from here.
She's from Nashville?
Yeah, she went to Brown Academy.
Get the heck out of here. Man knows ball. If get him on the Tennessee.
No, I know. I was like, oh, wow. BA grad.
Tough cook.
Anyway, I think we grew up around the same neighborhood, same area of town.
For sure. That's what's up, man. She went to Ole Miss, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Up there it is. Got him out the Grove, baby.
Anyway, sir.
To the game, though. And everybody that needed to respond did. Wemby did. You mentioned him while we were on the break, man. Like, finally stop taking those early threes. Yeah. Start there, Wemby. The way they opened up the game, you mentioned him and Castle, Stephon Castle. They opened up the game attacking the rim. Wemby was far and above the rim, dunked on Karl Anthony Towns early in the game. I think Stephon Castle got to the free throw line early in this game, too. Wemby attacked. He facilitated for a lot of guys on his team. Here's the thing. New York responded, but I think they ended up going up by 10. The Spurs did early in it, and it was just a back and forth the whole time, with the Spurs being able to dictate what was going to happen. The physicality of that game last night, I think, was in the favor of the Spurs. I thought frustration was on the side of the Knicks for the most part.
Which I thought was a bit of a bold strategy, and I know Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal talked about it at halftime. Very bold and brave of them to go after Jalen Brunson physically the way that they did.
Shaq loved it, though.
He did.
Charles
Barkley said the series was over.
He did. He said he was going to bet his house.
He said, I'll bet my house against that little house you have, which is crazy, before he called Cardi B Cardi D's, which was a wild statement as well to make on national television.
Got the wrong letters. Those ain't B's.
Unbelievable. But what did you make of that in the first half, on the way they were being physical with Jalen Brunson and going after the main guy that New York had? Because I did think that Charles Barkley had a point. Yeah. I don't know if he's the right guy to mess with and rattle the cage with, but ultimately it may have honestly worked the way they wanted it to.
Because nobody responded. I felt the same way Wemby and everybody else went at Jalen Brunson. The Knicks did the exact same thing in San Antonio to Wemby. They did it. And nobody responded, or nobody backed up Wemby in that moment. So I felt like Coach Miller, the Spurs head coach, ended up putting himself in position, said, well, if you attack my guy, I'm going to attack yours. We got to make it clean. But they did. And nobody really responded to it. And here's the other part about it as well. If you let – this is the – can I have a tall guy to, like, below average height guy conversation, okay, and competing, okay, and this is with all due respect. A lot of those guys who are Jalen Brunson's height, like 6'2", that are battling giants, they do get away with it. I see, like, their physicality, the way they check people. If you watch Jalen Brunson, his physicality is not removed from his game. He's elbowing guys. His offhand. I text Savage last night. It was like, he is flagrant with his offhand presence right now. He's dribbling,
but it doesn't make guys fly to the floor.
Exactly,
because they don't pack as much.
He's getting away with it, and I feel like other teams, well, the Spurs are in a position where, like, we got to battle back with this because we allow him to do it. He's going to bully the heck out of us. I've seen basketball.
And he has the whole series.
He has.
Yeah, exactly.
And then his guys have backed him up as well, too. So
that's fair.
I liked the approach. I'm with Shaq on this one. Go at him. Make him feel exactly what they've done, because if you look at the first two games, they absolutely surrounded Wemby. They trapped him. He fell on the ground. They fouled him hard. They got in his head. I think they did the exact same thing to Brunson last night, too, although I don't agree with how long in the fourth quarter he sat on the bench. Now, I know they were trying to rest him up and say, hey, green light, go.
Right.
But they sat him on the bench while I felt like the Spurs were really putting him up in the corner. It was a little bit too late there.
First time since the 1993 finals that the road team has won the first 3 games of a series. You know, last time the Knicks lost a home playoff game in this postseason?
It's got a month
April
and a half.
23rd.
We were together. It was the first night of the NFL draft.
Stop it.
That's the last time that the New York Knicks lost a home playoff game.
That's good
46
fortune.
days.
46 days. That's good fortune right there.
Carnell Tate was just becoming a Titan.
He was.
Forget about Moss and people at practice. He was just becoming a Titan. The last time the New York Knicks lost a home game. It felt a little bit to me like in the first half when Jalen Brunson was kind of getting knocked around a little bit and the Knicks went on their incredible run to score 42 points in the second quarter.
Yeah.
Josh Hart was the catalyst for a lot of that. And in the first half, he didn't do much by way of offense in the first 2 games. Started to show more offensive output in the first half, and in that second quarter specifically, had 16 points of the game. I believe 13 of that was all in the first half.
Yes, it was.
For Josh Hart. Yeah, it was. And then didn't do really anything in the second half, and then he ends up turning in a -7 in this game. I'm not just pointing that out because he hates Arsenal. And the other day, he, in the middle of a press conference, just goes, by the way, Arsenal sucks. Yeah, you suck, Josh Hart. But regardless, he was a really big part of what was working for the Knicks when things were working in the first half. It just felt to me like the story of this game was who not named Brunson or Wembanyama was going to step up and help out the superstar. And in the first half, Jalen Brunson had more help. And OG Anunoby, who was knocking down threes and still ended up with 28 points in the game overall, second most for New York on the night. In the first half, you had more from Josh Hart. You had just better shooting overall.
Sure did.
And then it kind of flipped in the second half. De'Aaron Fox obviously hitting the major fadeaway to really put this game away at the very end, make it 2 possessions. Victor Wembanyama was great himself, but the help he got from Stephon Castle was ultimately probably the difference in this thing. And who the Robin's going to be in the series might ultimately dictate who wins the series.
I think that's the storyline for both teams.
Yeah, I do too.
No, straight up, man. And you know who they should be. Like, Karl Anthony Towns should have been the Robin last night. And he had some good moments. Like, he ended up putting some getbacks, some putbacks in the rim last night, though, too. But Mikal Bridges, like, he was absent. He had early fouls in the game, so you didn't have his presence as often as you needed it to be throughout the duration of the game, at least in the first half, man. I mean, he's a starter for this team and only logged 2 points. Like, that's a Robin you need to show up right there. That's a Jeffrey right there that you need to show up right there, and he was nowhere to be found. And I think the response that you got from the Spurs bench, legitimately, you had, again, Carter Bryant come in and just get 1-3 assists. You needed that in those moments right there. And coming off the bench, I mentioned him a second ago, but playing 32 minutes, man, Dylan Harper, the way he's just going down the middle of the paint, like, he's only scoring like 13 to 15 points a game when he's going in, and that's a lot for a rookie. But how he's going about scoring is electric, and it's a boost for them, too, with just him dunking over people down the middle of the lane. I don't know what his vertical is coming out of Rutgers, but that young man can jump. When it comes down to getting those point guard rebounds or the extra when Wemby's pinned down, he's an assist to him. But I'm with you. Who's going to end up being the best Robin in this matchup is who's going to help their team win the series.
Well, and he was only on the floor for 17 minutes, but Keldon Johnson was plus 14 in only 17 minutes on the floor last night.
Yeah.
Between Keldon Johnson and Dylan Harper, who you mentioned gives them 32 minutes off the bench, and Devin Vassell, plus 12 in this game. Stephon Castle was excellent as well. Ultimately, too, the Knicks just couldn't hit open shots in the fourth quarter.
It was missing.
And they were in the penalty for the final 9:18 of the fourth quarter, but the Spurs had a 24-8 advantage in free throw attempts, which had Mike Brown talking a little bit after the game last night, complaining. I mean, was there a foul disparity, or was this more about the team that was more aggressive going to the rim versus one who was a bit more content to take open threes?
They've had 3 different sets of referee head refs, if I'm not mistaken, too. Each one of them has been different. So he can't say just the same crew has been calling it one way. It has been 3 different head judges the first 3 games of this series. So they have to adjust in game for what was going to be allowed. There was a lot of physicality that happened. None calls, guys falling to the ground numerous times throughout the course of this matchup. Jordan Clarkson hit the ground hard. Ref looked at him, threw his hands like, get up. Go. And that's how you have to play these games. We complain all the time as fans about, hey, let them play ball. Right now, as a coaching staff, you got to let them play ball. And I will even say this, too, for the guy that deserved the calls, Jalen Brunson. Be real, last night he played foul merchant a little bit, but they were also in the bonus. And he knew how to make that contact and get to the free throw line from time to time. Your point is right earlier. This isn't, in my opinion, a referee issue. It is they couldn't make open shots issue.
Well, and I think, too, they mentioned it on the broadcast, but San Antonio with the lead had the luxury of waiting, bleeding the shot clock, and then getting to the basket and just trying to get fouled and trying to be aggressive and saying that worst case scenario, our shot gets blocked at the rim, it doesn't give you a long rebound, and we've got time to get our defense back. It's the benefit you get. You get to go to the foul line more when you go to the basket more because you are taking more time from the clock and not just taking the first open window you get to shoot a 3.
For sure. And then the other side, though, too, is manage how you're going to end up playing your bigs and defending Wemby, too.
Right.
You putting Mitchell Robinson out there as a doggone foul getter, and he's got absolutely nothing for you offensively. I'm looking at the box right now. He's minus 13 while being on the floor for only 7 minutes. He's fouling guys for no particular reason at all. And I get he had a couple of putbacks and stuff like that, but it's more than just that. And then the other one, too, that came into the game, Landry Shamet, brother. I know he played with a lot of passion for the Knicks, but he shouldn't have been out there last night. He had a couple of plays that he made here and there, but
1 of 7 from 3, Landry Shamet last night.
What
1 of 8 from the floor. He was minus 20, worst of anybody who played in the game.
And he looked
even worse
like
than stinky Josh Hart.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm the biggest hater.
It was, and you should be, okay? We should have hate in sports.
He said the Arsenal Premier League title is rigged, so I think him being an NBA player
sounds like a loser to me.
We can both lie.
Okay. But again, I think Savage, I heard Savage say it before. Mike Brown outcoached Coach Miller for the Spurs the first 2 games. I think Coach Miller got him back this last game. He outplayed him. I think they outschemed him too, and they attacked him early in the paint.
Mitch Johnson is the coach.
Mitch Johnson, my bad. I keep calling him Coach Miller. Mitch Johnson. I don't know where I got Miller from, okay?
I don't either. That's okay.
Mitch Johnson.
We say a lot of words.
He's cold as a coach, though, is what I'm saying. He knew when to call timeouts when they got the rolling. He controlled his team emotions, and they went to their star. Wemby cooked last night.
Well, they just had a plan for Karl Anthony Towns where they really struggled with that through the first 2 games because Cat had a really good two games, and this one only had 11 points on the floor.
He did. I agree with you there, too, because in the game 1 and game 2, Karl Anthony Towns put the ball on the ground, and nobody could defend him. If you were watching last night, which we all did, they put a guard on Cat. Cat won't get overly physical, and Wemby was straddling the paint so that he couldn't drive on him. Wemby got cooked off the ball the first 2 games from Cat's perspective, and I like that adjustment that they had towards him.
And they also found easy ways to get Wemby the ball and get some easy alley-oops. Just get some easy points.
They finally finished him.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah. They've been throwing those lobs all series. Yeah. He finally had a little bit of touch of the rim.
And he was also getting sandwiched, too. They did a real good job on crashing on him, too.
Victor Wembanyama and Stephon Castle, the youngest duo by average age in NBA history to score 20-plus points each in a finals game. According to ESPN Insights as well, through 3 games, New York is 9 of 41 when defended by Victor Wembanyama in the NBA Finals. In Game 3, they were 2 of 11 and 0 of 4 in the fourth quarter. They did not score on Victor Wembanyama for the entire final 12 minutes of the basketball game. It was good spectacle, though. I just think, too, like, you've got something that has a little bit for everyone. For the NBA fan, obviously you have a great series. For the person who just wants to celeb watch and see who is there and see who they can see, true, you have something for them. For me, who's probably smack dab in the middle of like, I like the basketball. I don't really watch the NBA, but I appreciate it. I understand why people like it. Yeah. And I also just kind of want to see the event because last night was more of an event. I tuned into the pregame an hour before. I was getting stuff done around the house and tidying up things as we enter wedding week and all these things, just getting stuff done. And it was cool to just see who all was there, who stopped by. And here's Spike Lee, Arsenal fan. And here's Patrick Ewing and teeing it up, or not teeing it up. Well, yeah, tipping off with Charles Barkley and all this stuff. It was a cool spectacle for New York. That being said, not at all surprised that pressure kind of got the Knicks a little bit because in the first 10 minutes, they didn't necessarily spot the Spurs a ton of points, but they kind of did also. Like they were very sloppy early, and I don't really blame them either, to be quite honest with you.
You had to set it up like that, right? Like the Knicks had to do it like this. I was like, I couldn't even text my messages to Savage yesterday. I was sending them voice messages and letting them know, like I said, Savage. I said, for as much as the NFL has done to smother almost every sport in the NFL, I mean, in America, I said, this right here reminds me of the 90s, like, NBA. It reminded me of the early 2000s NBA where you saw, like, the stars come out, the lead up to it. The pregame was amazing, Will. And the other part, too, you've said this numerous times, and I've pushed back on it. I am a David fan, okay? Goliath can go jump off a cliff more times than not, okay? I'm a David fan. I love the small market team. After watching the Knicks be in it, I get it. I get it. I get why they want L.A. I get why they want New York. I get why they want Miami. I get why they want Boston.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I get it
I'm with you. And the numbers bear it out, too. I mean, this is why we hear so much about the Knicks. They're just finally holding up their end of the bargain, which is probably terrible for the rest of us for the whole summer.
And just looking at the last 2 championships, Denver and OKC, like, it's cool when they got it, right? Like, this is cool. This is cute. Like, yeah, I'm glad that they won it.
Milwaukee's not bringing in close to the same crowd.
It does not do it. Okay, Aaron Rodgers on the sideline. Cool in Milwaukee. You got every star imaginable.
Everybody.
Inside of that. Like, Titans, I hope we get an opportunity to see a championship here. 1,000%. That would be friggin' phenomenal. But I see why the big networks ask for the bigger team.
Oh, 100%. It's only going to make it worse, too.
It's only going to make it worse.
Well, I mean, how long does it take until First Take has some kind of segment comparing this Knicks run to the Dallas Cowboys?
I mean,
now that the Knicks have broken through, when will it be time for the Cowboys? That's next with Stephen A. It's what they do.
It is what they do.
And this is why they do it. Because then the payoff when a team like that really does make the championship is exactly what we're watching.
The small markets or the mid markets need to be in the mix, most definitely. You need to push the chips to the middle of it. No, like watching Kansas City do their thing is cool. But
speak for yourself.
I mean, in the early parts, it was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was until Mahomes and Kelsey became unlikable. And now Kelsey's a little bit more likable, depending on who you ask. And Mahomes is still kind of what he is.
Is Buffalo mid-market because it's New York, or are they major? I don't know where they are.
I would say they're mid-market, yeah.
They are mid-market.
I would say Buffalo is mid-market.
Yeah, but I get it. You've preached this since we've been doing this show. No, we need the big matchups. I get screw the Cinderella, okay?
615-737-1045 is our number. Speaking of Kansas City, they are bringing in an old friend to absolutely no one's surprise. We'll talk about it next. Is your home's air conditioning keeping up this summer? Hey, it's Will Bowling. Lee Company has you covered. Lee Company's team of professional technicians will give your home's AC a tune-up, as well as seasonal cleaning and maintenance to help you stay ahead of the heat and humidity outside. Don't let your AC fail this summer. Head on over to leecompany.com to schedule your appointment today. Whether we have already had those big heat waves that you've been feeling in the house that have maybe knocked up that temperature a little bit to where it's not exactly where you want it to be, and you're a little bit anxious about it, but you've been putting it off, or maybe your AC unit has just totally given up over the past couple of days if things have gotten hotter and you've waited too long. Well, no matter what your AC unit looks like today, get Lee Company out there. Make sure it's working the way that it's supposed to. You might be one heat wave away, one hot day away from everything just totally not working the way that it's supposed to anymore. Get that preventative maintenance with Lee Company. Head online to leecompany.com. Schedule your appointment there today. That's leecompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. Wrapping up hour one on Ramon and Will. Not back here. That's for dang sure. But L'Jarius Sneed is a Kansas City Chief again. 1 year deal up to $5 million. So what do we think? Vet minimum with a lot of incentives to take him up to $5 million?
No, vet minimum is a little bit over 1, maybe 1.1. He probably got about 3 and some change.
I was going to say, if you're Kansas City, wouldn't you be willing to give him $4 million in incentives with low expectations?
Yeah, I would. To your point, up to $5 million don't tell us what his base is. So you got a point there. I just look at it. He probably signed for 3.5 guaranteed, I guess. Right. Up to 3.5 per game bonus, probably.
Kansas City Chiefs get L'Jarius Sneed back after his 4-year, $76 million contract with the Titans that yielded 12 games in 2 seasons. He is out of his off-field stuff and court predicament. He was indicted last November by a grand jury in Dallas County, Texas, on a misdemeanor charge of failure to report a felony from an incident that occurred in December of 2024, where the owner of an exotic car rental business alleged that Sneed and his personal assistant pulled up to the dealership in a rented Lamborghini and shot at him while he was sitting inside his vehicle. That charge was dropped in May, according to an announcement at the time from L'Jarius Sneed's attorney. Unfortunately, Ramon, that was the story as much as the play on the field was the story for L'Jarius Sneed, who was just never on the field as a Tennessee Titan. What are your expectations for what he could give the Kansas City Chiefs at this point in his career?
A lot, probably. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, I'm not with you on that one.
It's just the fact that he's back where he had is good at. The fact that he's getting a little bit more coin than I thought he would have, considering how much he's played. I feel like after he's worked out, pretty much got himself healthy, he probably going to finish at least 15 games this year and make a few plays for them.
But as a starter, it's easier to finish 15 games when you're only playing 15 to 20 snaps.
Is he being asked to start?
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's a good question. I mean, it depends on how they view Noah Williams, their second-year corner, who they at least felt good enough about to move on from Jalen Watson in free agency and trade Trent McDuffie.
I think he's probably like the third corner if I was to guess. Like him being a starter, he'd be fair. He hadn't really played. The knees should be fine if those were the issues. The quads should be fine. The ankles should be good. Heck, everything should be good at this point. He went on a, respectfully, and I say this with a little bit of jealousy, a 3-year vacation. He got paid to sit. And I don't say that in the sense of jealousy because, like, hey, yeah, he got the bread. But I'm just looking at it like he got generational money to just, as much as he possibly could, do minimum. And he did. And, like, now I would say this, I feel like it's a slap in the face to people in Tennessee who rooted for him and hoped that they would get that version of him. Like, I can't proclaim what I think his play is going to be in Kansas City. But the fact that they signed him for upwards of $5 million lets you know that they think he's healthy enough and will be productive enough for them to get more out of him than I feel like he did here in Nashville. He played 15 games in 1 year for them and only did 12 and 2. 12 and 2, real? Is that what it was?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just what the heck, what were you doing?
Well, you would say, I mean, to your point, like, there's not that much more mileage on his knees and on his body because he hasn't played a lot of football, but he's also about 3 years older from the last time that he was playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. And, I mean, this is the Patriots method. Let a good player that you drafted walk because someone else is willing to pay them more than you are and then get them back at the end of their career.
Yeah.
This is what New England did.
It is.
For many years. Now, if you're going to do that, you better consistently find good players to backfill your roster at the back of your drafts.
Yeah.
And that started to slip a little bit for Kansas City. Noah Williams is the outlier. Noah Williams is a player I think they feel good enough about to throw into a starting role there. But their cornerback room now is filled with a couple of former Titans, L'Jarius Sneed and Christian Fulton.
Christian Fulton's there.
Mansour Delane, they drafted with their first-round pick. They traded up to get him, the corner out of LSU. Noah Williams, Melvin Smith Jr., another former Titan now, and Kyer Elam. Bryce Phillips, and Zelmar Vetter, who I was today years old when I learned was a person.
Okay.
Respectfully.
So here's where it could. What's the Zelmar?
Yeah, Zelmar.
Oh Lord. You got
with a name like Zelmar, you got to be good.
Got to be cold.
With a name like Schmuckers, it has to be good.
I see. Frost in there. It's like he got a paid vacation for 2 years. Here's what I would say about that though too. He's in a spot. He's in a predicament right now where that division ain't the same as it was when they was winning Super Bowls. Let's on the football side of things.
Absolutely.
He gonna have to play well. If not, he will get exposed. If there is a threat of injury, he going to be tapped out at like midway through the season, if not sooner, man, because the Chargers, very physical. You know they're going to bring it every single time. You look at the style of ball in which you think the Raiders going to play. They got to be ground to pound. They got to go at him. I don't think they have the wide receiver core to play. If he's number 3, will he see Brock Bowers? Like, will he see him if he's number 3? And then, of course, I think the best team in the division is Denver. Like,
without question.
They have to.
Without question.
That's not the same division that they're going to run down on each and every week like they did 3-4 years ago. So he better bring his lunch pail and he better be healthy as well. Look at it. So it's just such a Titans fans that got to watch this and be like, oh, well, he's going to go ball for them.
I don't think it's going to suck for Titans fans because I don't think you're going to have to watch very much L'Jarius Sneed. At this point in his career and in his football life, I think he has very little to offer physically.
I just want to.
I think his body has broken down enough to actually consistently play tackle football.
But you can,
I don't believe it when I see it.
You can root against them from a distance even before it even gets started.
I'm not disputing that.
Yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at.
I don't blame any Titans fan for rooting against L'Jarius Sneed.
Yeah, like
he was a net negative in the time that he was here.
I'm talking about
in terms of draft picks, in terms of cap space, in terms of off-field concerns. He did more harm than good.
He was Enron. Basically.
He did. Not every move works.
He was Enron, Will.
He did more bad than good.
Legitimately, this was a pyramid scheme, man, the way I view this one. We all paid into this one, a lot of stock.
Yeah.
And we got sold nothing in the end.
615-737-1045 is our number. Yesterday, a district court allowed Brendan Sorsby an injunction against the NCAA to play college football this upcoming year. Coaches, athletic directors in the NCAA then responded. We'll tell you about that response coming up next.
7 o'clock. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Spurs bounced back last night to take Game 3 of the NBA Finals 115-111 over the New York Knicks, led by Victor Wembanyama, who had 32 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 blocks on the night. The Spurs win gave New York their first loss in 46 days, also ending their 13-game playoff win streak. The Spurs now trail the series 2-1. Game 4 is set for Wednesday night back at Madison Square Garden. NFL news yesterday. The Chiefs are re-signing former Titans cornerback L'Jarius Sneed to a 1-year deal worth up to $5 million per his agents, the Katz brothers. Sneed is headed back to Kansas City after a 2-year stint in Tennessee, where Sneed played just 12 games for the Titans as he struggled to stay on the field due to a numerous amount of injuries. Coming up tonight, the Stanley Cup Final continues with Game 4 in Las Vegas as the Golden Knights hold the 2-1 series lead over the Carolina Hurricanes. Puck drop is set for 7 o'clock tonight on ABC. The Hurricanes are the slight favorites to win tonight at -115 odds. For all your foundation repair and waterproof needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into hour number 2 on your Tuesday morning edition of Ramon and Will. Coming up in 20 minutes, what you need to know from yesterday's organized team activity. OTA is practice. In a way, for 4 hours, we have an organized team activity of a radio show called Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. That's Ramon Foster. Justin Hawkins is our producer. I'm Will Bowling. We will talk about that coming up in 20 minutes. But yesterday, in the final hour of the program, news broke that Brendan Sorsby has been given an injunction against the NCAA and will be given a 2-game suspension and a slap on the wrist to play football for Texas Tech in 2026. Well, then everyone responded to this. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, Ramon, where I still sit on this story, on the fact that this is allowed to happen, is that things have changed for the NCAA in court, because not only now are they losing court battles, they are losing court battles that we want them to win. I think if you polled the general public, if you read on social media, anyone without a red and black tee or some kind of Wreckham logo is 100% against this. Yeah. I think maybe if you polled all the country, how many people do you think are really for Brendan Sorsby playing college football next year for Texas Tech?
Who's really for them?
5 to 10% of all of America? Still doesn't matter. NCAA still loses.
Doesn't. Yeah, the rage baiters probably want to, be a part of it.
Right. Let them play. If you really actually polled the general public.
No, nobody wants them to play.
No.
Nobody wants
absolutely
them to play.
not.
Nobody does.
So, the NCAA has officially filed a notice of appeal with the 7th District of Texas in Amarillo, Texas, against the injunction granted to Brendan Sorsby. It is classified as an accelerated appeal because right now, Ramon, Sorsby's trial is set for the week of February 8th, 2027. Right. I love how easy it is to accelerate things when we want to break rules. But then when the rules are actually being enforced and the NCAA is trying to enforce them, we got to wait till February. So they are trying to classify this as an accelerated appeal to speed up the process and ultimately still win their battle against him and against Texas Tech.
You know what was messed up about this entire process, though, too? Like, in my naive mind of thinking about NIL and sponsorship and stuff like this, I thought this was the ability of the athletes, man, to get a car dealership, endorsement for the local restaurant to say, hey, and maybe even Nike shows up, maybe even Ford or some other company shows up and like, hey, man, we want to do a deal with you. We got these cool gloves. We want you to endorse them. Like, it's really gone to the wayside. Like, I joked a little bit with you and Hawk in our group chat, just looking at Cody Cooper, what is his name? The big donor from from
Cody
Texas.
Campbell.
Cody Campbell, CC. Cody Campbell. Like, I joke with y'all, and I was just like, they're treating college sports right now, specifically them with how they've gone about it as of late. Now, I know everybody's playing in the mud with this, but Cody Campbell, as loud as he is on social media, he might even hear us talking about him right now with how he reacts to everything going on right now. But they are in West Texas, in Lubbock, and decided that, hey, I got a lot of bread, so I'm going to do with this sport what I want to, because the NCAA right now can do anything to me. And that's where I feel like this has kind of gone far and beyond anything that you wanted it to be. I view this the same way college sports right now. I'm viewing it and how these big donors are getting in it the same way Liv did to golf, or the Saudis did to golf.
That's a great comparison.
It's going to be cool. There's a lot of people that's going to get paid.
It's going to create change for the people who actually have staying power.
And then you're going to come on right back home. Yeah, those Liv golfers are going right back to the PGA. They have no funding right now. That's what I meant by Cody Campbell's situation that he's dealing with right now. Like, I earned in my career,
fair.
Okay? Like, I earned, there's a lot of people around this city that have earned. And, like, a lot of people ask you to donate and give money to causes. At some point, even if you are Saudi Arabian and you got oil money, you either get bored.
Got to get ROI.
You got to get a return.
Yeah.
And they've yet to have any return on any championship.
Well, and I think Cody Campbell would probably hit back at you and say exactly that. Like, there has been return on investment because they made the playoff, and their softball team has been in the last 2 championship series, and they're starting to improve in every sport across the board. Yeah, right. Yeah, like, they're a good men's basketball program, really good men's basketball program, and I do think where your analogy breaks down, because I do think overall it's a good comparison. Where it breaks down is Cody Campbell, isn't the only one.
I know Patrick there's Mahomes plenty of and Adidas.
There are people that make Patrick Mahomes look like a minnow.
Yeah, for sure.
With the money. Like, there's a lot of oil money. It's not just Cody Campbell. But regardless, there are deeper-rooted loyalties that I think probably make people like Cody Campbell a bit more patient to see ROI versus Saudi Arabia with golf on something that they had just started. Like, Texas Tech athletics still does have a rich history, and there are generations of people that have billions with a B dollars whose grandparents were Texas Tech people. Like, Liv Golf didn't really have that because this was just kind of a thing for them to sports wash. And Cody Campbell and people within this aren't sports washing just to make their state look better away from human atrocities that they're, not to get political, but their government and that their society is doing. So it's a little bit apples and oranges, but I do like the comparison overall to say that ROI does matter.
It does.
And I think beyond ROI mattering, I think the biggest thing that matters is the funding of all the other stuff you've got to do as an athletic department beyond just football. Because football is not going to die at a Power 4 institution.
No doubt.
Within reason, right?
No doubt. Absolutely.
I mean, it could die as in, like, you don't get to play in the real conference anymore because you just don't really bring enough of a media market so where you get to go play in the Pac-2 now. Like, you could die in that way. Like, you still play football, but, like, are you really? Like, you're kind of playing a different sport now. Right. And it could die within, you just don't have the money to compete at the highest level, so you go take your money to baseball and basketball and other things. But what's really on the chopping block is tennis and track and field and gymnastics and rowing and volleyball and all of these other things that are also having to pay out NIL dollars and rev share and taking the hit within all of this. So all that being said, yesterday was a really bad day for college athletics.
It was.
Really bad day for college athletics. You have one rule that you are told, well, 2 rules. 2 rules that you're told in compliance meetings. The university has very little control over appealing. That's gambling and that's performance-enhancing drugs. Yep. Those are the 2. I have sat through these compliance meetings. You have sat through these compliance meetings. Justin, you have sat through these compliance meetings. There is one thing within the first week that you're there that they tell you to do. Don't gamble.
Don't gamble.
It's not complicated. There is no way you can misunderstand these meetings unless you are legitimately asleep or didn't show up or were getting rehab. But even still, they make you be there and say, no, you're going to do your rehab another time. We're not helping your ankle. No, you're in the meeting. It is totally ridiculous. And I'll just leave it at this. And I know this is a charged issue because when you say mental health, that's obviously a big talking point now, and mental health is very serious. I get all of that. I totally understand. I was burned out as an athlete at the end of my career and in a bad place when I left college athletics. I get that. I lived it.
Sure.
Literally lived it personally. But having a silver bullet for an attorney to claim mental health just because you broke the rules and don't want to pay the consequences is really poor. That's really ridiculous. And that actually, I think, is a slap in the face to people who actually battle mental health issues, including even Brendan Sorsby. It is a slap in the face to people who are really struggling within athletics, within colleges, within life, to just use that as a get-out-of-jail-free card or get-out-of-a-suspension-free card.
I'm rolling with you there.
There is no world where you can argue to me, personally, in my opinion, that playing football fixes your mental health. If you've got a mental health issue and you can't stop gambling, then let's take the distraction of football away from you and let's get real about life. There you go. There's my spiel for the day.
90 grand for an amateur on gambling is flagrant. It is. I agree with you. Like the fact that you're betting on balls and strikes, like I've never heard that a day in my life. I just haven't. But that's the other though. That's the other thing though too with this. Like you made a great point. We'll do whatever we can for what we love. Texas love football. America love football. People love winning. And that's where you got to stop blurring the lines because if Brendan Sorsby gets this, what does this do moving forward for his public reputation? What does it do for his family? What does it do for his kids?
He is a villain forever.
His future kids. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like it's...
He is a villain of this beautiful game we love in football.
So like I've seen people speak about like there is no integrity in college sports. Like this is somewhat proving it because it's a blatant example.
It is playing out in public
because this is the nasty part of it. Like this is where the concept of colleges or like college athletics is gone. The student athlete is done. That name in general for a lot of like people competing, like it's still there. You still have to, apply and get in.
Still does a lot of good for a lot of families, a lot of people.
Like, I'm preaching to most athletes that I'm involved with. Don't just bank on making it pro.
But it's a stain.
It's a big stain.
And I think there has been a lack of integrity in college sports for a very long time.
It is.
This is just as publicly as it's ever played out.
It most definitely. And the part that I bring up on Cody Campbell though is this though. And, like, it ain't just him. It's others that are doing it. But, like, he's the one leading the charge. And I agree with you. There's so much money in West Texas. It's ridiculous, okay? In almost any school. Heck, you got Pella. We got the Haslam's here. Vanderbilt got a crazy endorsement. I mean, NIL. Like, everybody's got
a Nate
something.
Bargatze movie, right?
Exactly. Like, so I get that part of it as well. But he's the one that's leading the charge on just how, illegal it is or it should be on how you're operating with pawns. Like, that's the part that's the most dirtiest to me is, like, there are other people that are probably in the collective with him, but the idea that you're using personally these players, these young amateurs, these people, black, white, Asian, Mexican, it don't matter, as your personal pawns to sit on the championship stage so that you all can raise the trophy, it's just so nasty is what I would say. Like, we know it's a dirty game, and there's monetary exchange that is handed out because of the services that you provide.
There's no punishment anymore.
This is just dirty.
There's no consequences. For the one rule that you're told we have no ability to appeal or get out of.
So Brandon Marcello, who's a senior senior national college football reporter for CBS. So it checks out. He did his research. Mm-hmm. All four justices of the 7 courts of appeal in Texas are graduates from where?
Let's say Texas Technological University.
Yes, they are.
Texas Tech.
And I would say the name, but I don't want to do that. Now, there's context. According to the State Board of Texas, Texas Tech has the only law school in Texas west of San Antonio. These judges had no reasonable choice. But the involvement, though, like Knoxville had an alum presiding over Joey Aguilar's case. Said, I love you, my kids love you, but we just can't do this.
So far, Joey Aguilar and Charles Bediako are really the only two to take the big losses in court against the NCAA.
Okay.
And that took a while for Bediako, too, because they originally got a 10-day kind of stay, which then turned into 20 because I think because of snow, right, at the time?
Right.
They couldn't get to court. And then the NCAA did ultimately appeal and win that one.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt.
So there's still a world where Brendan Sorsby doesn't play football for Texas Tech next year. However, it shouldn't have even gotten to this point.
You know, the other part of this, too, just for future references and athletes as well. And, yeah, I'm in that window with my kids as well, too. So I think about these things, okay? This is going to make it worse for our kids is what I'm thinking. Like the idea that, hey, your kids can potentially, if you're at or below the poverty line, help you with the NIL that they get in, or the fact that you are a parent that says, you know what, man, this gives my kids a high platform on life if they're able to be athletic enough to be able to create some money through NIL. The way they're operating right now, the shutdown that could potentially happen on this era of NIL is, I think, going to hurt the game. I think it messes up the mindset of players going into college. I think it screws over the parents with the concept of how they view college sports and how they view their kids.
It's a loss for everyone except Cody Campbell, Joey McGuire, Brendan Sorsby, and the Texas Tech football team.
Yes.
100%. Texas, please schedule Texas Tech in the first 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
Imagine how funny that would be.
No.
If Texas all right, we'll play you. You still want to do that week 1 game? Cool. We'll play your backup quarterback. Now that it's a 2-game suspension.
Seriously, man.
So Ross Tellinger says at yahoosports.com, one Big 12 athletic director who requested to be anonymous said, it is the lowest point in my time in college sports, and said Texas Tech should be ashamed of itself. Utah athletic director Mark Harlan said the decision left him disheartened. One Big 12 athletic director who is scheduled to play the Red Raiders told On3 no discussions have been held yet about not playing the conference foe, but Kansas State AD Gene Taylor told Yahoo they have had serious talks about not playing Texas Tech. Well, until the television partners agree that you cannot play Texas Tech, then you're going to be playing Texas Tech.
I saw a joke.
But I appreciate that.
You know who's winning in all of this publicly now?
Who's that?
Steve Sarkisian.
Yeah, honestly. All he had to do was wait.
Sarkisian in Texas right now.
Georgia AD Josh Brooks said there need to be serious conversations about not playing them in any sport. Said this is not about Texas Tech. It's about protecting our own locker room. We cannot in good conscience put our student athletes on a field where the competitive integrity of the contest is compromised and overridden by the courts. If a state court wants to dictate eligibility rules, they can play themselves. All FBS schools should only take the field against programs operating under a uniform, trustworthy standard of fairness. We've officially reached the point of no return. If there is a positive in all of this, it's that this is such a lightning rod issue and that the public is going to be so on the NCAA side that it might facilitate legitimately meaningful change within college athletics. But also, I'm not going to hold my breath. 615-737-1045. Takeaways from Monday's Titans OTA practice are next.
It's Ramon Foster, Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Man, nobody likes dealing with a plumbing, HVAC, or electrical emergency at all. Most of the time, you don't know what it'll cost you if it'll get fixed right, or if somebody's trying to sell you something you do not need. I'm here to tell you from a personal testimony, man. When I've reached out to Hiller, they've solved my problems quickly, and the price I was told is what I actually paid at the end of it. And not only just that, but they do real good business, man. Whenever I've had a issue outside or I needed lights put up, they did it quickly. They usually show up sooner than they tell you, but they'll also contact you as well. They've been in business for over 35 years, and are family owned and operated. The techs are the people that come to your house, super professional, they're experienced and they're trustworthy, and all background and drug screen as well. So when they're on the way, you'll also receive a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time. So you're not sitting around wasting your time. They believe in 100% satisfaction every single time. Their motto is, and they truly believe it, happy you'll be or the service is free. To learn more about Hiller or to book with them like I do, simply head over to happyhiller.com.
Credit card interest rates are up over 29%, and most folks are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. What's up? Will Bowling here. Here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out of pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at near 3-year lows, so act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. That's Loan Pronto with 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 615-499-5780 or visit loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780 online at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLS consumeraccess.org. Hour number 2 on your Tuesday morning edition of Ramon and Will. Glad you're here. 615-737-1045. If you have questions, if you want to know what happened yesterday at Titans OTA practice, well, we're about to tell you. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Justin Hawkins. Stream it live at 1045 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Ramon, what was your number one takeaway, the thing that stood out to you the most from yesterday's practice at the Vanderbilt Health Football Center?
Brian Dable's ability to scheme open Carnell. The fact that he is a weapon that you got a lot of talent in that you can build into. Also, too, just looking at Jimmy Wyatt's breakdown of pass catches over, he's leading the charge and receptions coming his direction, man. I think that's unique. I was talking to somebody yesterday. It was a couple of folks that was there visiting the Titans practices and just naming the wide receivers, like the floor is raised. So if you got an attack at all three levels, not even including the tight ends right now, I think that's super unique. And for me, it's the willingness. It is the obvious love affair that Coach Brian Dable has for Carnell Tate down the field and his ability to catch the ball over anybody.
He certainly did that yesterday, going over Micah Robinson for about a 50-yard catch that would have been a touchdown. Kevin Winston Jr. had an interception on Cam Ward. First time we've seen Cam throw a pick in the time that we have been out there for open OTAs. Mm-hmm. Timing was just a little bit off for Cam yesterday. It looked a little bit like what a lot of the challenges and struggles looked like during the season, didn't it? The ball was in his hand for just a tick longer than it needed to be. Maybe more throwaways yesterday than what we would have typically seen from Cam or what you would see from him when he's trying to improvise and create and run around. And you do see him stay in the pocket a bit more. For me personally in practice that you do sometimes in games, and he's a bit more eager to use his legs and get downfield. But is that a big concern for you? The fact that we are seeing some of the same mistakes right now in practice as far as just kind of slow timing?
Yeah, it can be a concern because we got to go off what our eyes are showing us. And that's the part of the game right there that will not lie to you is, all right, finding ways in which he can be more precise. I know he knows where to go with the ball. I expect that. Everybody speaks about how he knows and can regurgitate the offense back to coaches and teammates and everybody else. You see the pace in which the offense is working as well. It is a matter of what we don't know is this. What are the coaches' challenges to players each and every day? I felt like when we watched them last week and we were there, you saw the offense be fish and cook. I was looking at the differences between Cam operating and Mitch Trubisky operating. It felt, in my opinion, that Trubisky was working under a different script to where it was short, quick, get the ball out fast, sideline.
He was excellent yesterday.
Real good. Mm-hmm. Also, his first day back at work.
He was 13 of 15. That we can see, yeah.
That we can see.
Right.
Yeah. So that's where I was of the mindset, well, are they operating on two different scripts? Is Cam being asked to drive the ball down the field more? And I'll give this to the defense. The defense, I think, won. There's no other way around it.
I don't think, real quick, just to clean that up, I don't think it was the first time we've seen Mitch Trubisky. It was just he wasn't out there the last time we saw him.
Okay, yeah, most definitely.
That's all I can say for sure.
For sure, that works. But my point of it is just watching those two units operate there. The second team was more quick and get the ball out within 10 yards. Cam was driving it down the field. And I'm not sure if that was the challenge or Cam chose to drive the ball down the field and set himself back. If that's the case, then Cam got to realize that every meal ain't a feast. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's okay to just snack, pick up some peanuts, and continue to move the chains.
I like the way this offense gets guys open down the seam. It's something that you saw all of the quarterbacks do yesterday is drop that layered pass right over a linebacker, but in between him and the safety to a guy who's also going to have to make a tough possession catch because you are sandwiched between two defenders vertically, right in the seam, basically right along the hash marks as they run vertically on the field. But Will Levis layered in a good pass downfield to Jaron Kanik on a play like that. Cam Ward had a great throw to Carnell Tate.
Sure did.
A lot of Cam's best moments right now, for me, are when he is finding Tate or delivering an accurate ball out of the backfield to Tajay Spears. Those are the two guys to me. Wan'Dale Robinson has made some plays too. You can tell they're still getting their timing down a little bit on sitting down against zone coverage and finding the right spot. And there are some times where Robinson will sit and Cam wants him to take his route upfield a little bit more or vice versa. And Robinson goes upfield a bit more and Cam kind of wants him to sit. There are moments where those two just aren't 1,000% on the same page yet, and that's not a concern to me at all. I don't think that's behind schedule within any stretch of the imagination. But I do think what the bigger question I have now is for Cam is, when are we going to see the accuracy stuff be reined in a little bit? Mm-hmm. And what I mean by accurate stuff is just, when are we going to see you be a bit more accurate?
Yeah.
We got that question on YouTube. SWalt10 chimes in and says, just curious, when Cam's accuracy becomes a concern? I'm as big a fan as anyone, but it's becoming a trend. What do you think about that?
Caleb Williams last year, I told you this was the pathway. Be good with the ball or throw it away. He was still high 50% last year, and that team was one of the most electric teams that made some of the biggest plays of 2025.
And I believe he was only sacked 22 times.
Exactly.
Caleb Williams was last season. Yep, sacked 24 times, but he only completed 58% of his passes.
Here's what we know. One interception yesterday because he tried to force it. Lesson learned. Was it Kevin Winston? Got him on that one right there. So move forward from that one. Okay, he had the interception yesterday. Cam hadn't been too flagrant with the ball. The defense, I thought yesterday, disguised really well. You saw Cody Barton line up on the right side of the offense, on the left side of the offense, right side of the defense, and sprint all the way to the left side. And I think that was a play in which Kevin Winston Jr. ended up picking Cam off. The scheme in which they're showing him is a part of this as well. So you ask the question, what do you want? I want the efficiency, most definitely, 60+%. We also have a whole lot more of the story to actually be read and written out when it comes down to Cam development too. Like, this is a new offense.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean, this is a new offense. His understanding of when to tuck it, when to throw it, and when to get rid of it is part of this as well. I'm not going to make an excuse for him when it comes down to the percentage.
Yeah.
But the percentage also has to play a part in the entire story. As I said, and I've said this since last year, the projection for Cam, in my opinion, needs to be what Caleb was in Chicago last year.
That'd be great.
Be efficient with the ball.
3,900 yards and a 90.1 quarterback rating.
The one thing we haven't seen is him be flagrant with the ball and turning it over. That's a different story because there is a quarterback that's having that issue here. But that's not part of Cam's story
we'll get to in a minute. Yeah.
I'm not going to minimize the conversation of completion percentage. Most definitely, you want your quarterback to be efficient as heck. But you also want your quarterback to know when to get rid of the ball, too, because that does nothing but hurt you.
And the thing Caleb Williams did that you haven't mentioned is he won games.
Yeah.
I mean, that Bears team was 11-6. He had 6 fourth-quarter comebacks and 6 game-winning drives. That's what I'll sign up for.
For sure. And
if you give me a 90.1 quarterback rating, but you go on 6 game-winning drives, absolutely. I'm signing up for that.
And the other part that I want to stress, and I've been pushing it, Cam's still not the main character. He's just not, in my opinion.
Who is then?
The defense. It's the most veteran side of it. It's the most understood part of this team. It's got the most playmakers that you believe in, and you trusting that this head coach, along with Gus Bradley, know how to call and go get it. And we ain't even seen Jeff or John Franklin Myers out there.
That's a lot of pressure to put on a new look defense with a lot of parts that have not played together.
Cam shouldn't be the main star just yet. I personally don't think Caleb Williams was last year.
No, he definitely wasn't.
See, and that's my point.
Yeah, definitely wasn't.
That is my point. Like, eventually you want him to grow. What you don't want, in my opinion, is watching Cam say, I want to be exactly like what C.J. Stroud was. C.J. Stroud got lost. Now he's chasing that rookie year all over again as far as his efficiency and his playmaking.
Sure.
And that's where I've constantly have been of the mindset, we can roll the tape back.
Right.
Cam ain't the main star right now.
Sure. Question on YouTube says, didn't Cam have a high completion percentage last year? Why are we talking about accuracy? No,
he did.
Cam had the 3rd lowest completion percentage among the 33 mostly full-time starting quarterbacks.
Second half of the season, I think, or last 7 games.
Last 7 games, he had 62% completion percentage. No, Cam had one of the lowest completion percentages in the NFL last year. And he had the lowest yards per attempt of any qualifying quarterback last year. So to that question, that's why we're talking about it, is because he did not have a good completion percentage last year. I do think it's something that's got to be discussed and solved for Cam Ward, because I still think there were too many deep and intermediate passes last season that could have been caught where he didn't give his wide receiver a chance.
Yeah.
Carnell Tate's a really good possession wide receiver. Carnell Tate is going to go up and get a lot of footballs. He's also still human.
Yeah.
And you also have to give him a chance. And if I'm being critical of one big thing that Cam Ward didn't do well enough last season, in my opinion, it's not giving his guys a chance consistently enough on passes 10-plus yards down the field. Whether that's from miscommunication with the wide receiver, and you play 17 games, it's on you to communicate what you need a wide receiver to do. And I know that there are moving parts and guys moving all around, but we can only make so many excuses. And yes, he played a hard schedule. And yes, it was an up and down offensive line. And yes, he had an interim head coach. And yes, they changed play callers 4 weeks in. Like, all of those things are kind of baked into the equation. But still, if there is one thing that I thought Cam could have controlled better, it was giving his receivers a chance. I was standing there in the sideline next to a lot of those footballs that hit the ground.
Yeah.
There was no way that the best receiver in the league was going to get to some of them.
For sure.
That's something that's got to be corrected. And the beauty of it is nobody knows that better than Cam Ward.
For sure.
Who is, I think, not making as many excuses for himself as a lot of us make for him. And I mean fans, I mean media, I mean anybody who talks about Cam. I love Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward is going to be the franchise quarterback of the Tennessee Titans. I am pro Cam Ward. I am in on Cam Ward. We also don't have to handle Cam with kid gloves and understand that he was not good enough holding up his end of the bargain on passes 15, 20-plus yards downfield last year.
For sure. No doubt. Again, like, I'd love to know what the script concept was, though, too. Somebody brought up a point, and history is good to reference. It's not law, usually. Did you see the Matthew Stafford comment?
Oh, I saw the Peyton Manning one.
Oh, I didn't see that.
We had a commenter say Peyton Manning had 56% completion his rookie year, but go off, LMAO.
Yeah, I'm looking at Stafford. And
okay, Cam Ward's not Peyton Manning. Newsflash. What are we talking about? Is that the bar?
Yeah.
Of course, like, Peyton Manning is the exception. Josh Allen is the exception. No. Why are we comparing Cam Ward to Peyton Manning?
No doubt.
What are we talking about?
He's young. This is his second offense that he's run. I don't care how much Cam says, like, yeah, I got this. I'm a mentalist when it comes down to it. But there's growth that has to be had with this conversation, with the idea that Cam's going to be league MVP in year 2. Like, you're still on a team that's building its floor up. Like, there's a lot of conversation about the number 1 overall pick this year, number 4 overall pick this year, and Carnell Tate and what he can do for this team. You still need another one of those. Like, as far as we know, like, every wide receiver hasn't been available to him as well when it comes down to the offensive scheme. His offensive linemen are in and out, too. And, again, the NFL is about how much can you incrementally improve yourself and minimize your weaknesses. Only 1 interception yesterday when it comes down to Cam, and the defense absolutely, I think, just won that rep. Like, Cam could have won that play, but the defense said, no, we're paid and we're pros too.
Right.
That's the only part of the conversation I would say. Like, it's not the entire story on one day of open practice. Just the way I look at it.
Of course not. And again, like, there were probably accuracy concerns on a number of other quarterbacks like Peyton Manning and Matthew Stafford or whoever else you want to throw out there, but they got better. I want Cam Ward to get more accurate and get better. And I do think that a better group of receivers around him will help. But this sensitivity we have to any sort of criticism of Cam Ward, you know who would hate that? Cam Ward. I mean, Cam Ward is as critical of himself and of his team as anybody.
Yeah, that's for sure.
We can at least get halfway there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I think it's a talking point. I don't think it's a fatal flaw. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Cam Ward's not going to be a good starting quarterback because he had under 60% completion percentage as a rookie. That's not at all the message I have here. But I am saying that that's partly under his control. Yes, the offensive line could have been better. Yes, the receivers could have helped him more. There were also too many instances last season where Cam Ward didn't give his receiver a chance.
It's true.
And what I saw yesterday, Ramon, was an accuracy drill deep downfield where they put a net in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still seeing Cam not step into the throw, step sideways, and lean back with his shoulder and just float a pass short of the net.
Gotcha.
Now, that's one drill.
Right.
It's not something to be nearly overly concerned about. And as they got closer to it, they started to hit the net a little bit more. But I do know what he has said, and I know what coaches have said about Cam Ward. His feet start to get a little bit nonchalant, for lack of a better term. We want you to step into the throw. Use the big muscles.
Intentional.
Don't use just the shoulder and just the arm, because he's got a heck of an arm. God blessed him with an incredible arm to be able to just step sideways and make throws. But there's a lack of consistency when you live that life over and over again. Let your lower body lead you to throw an accurate pass downfield instead of just shouldering everything forward.
So that's the topic of conversation is the nets?
No, not necessarily.
Oh, okay. I was about to say,
what do you mean?
I thought, because I saw I wasn't really paying that much attention to the net.
These were
drill.
like 50-yard throws they were doing to try to hit a net. Again, I'm not concerned by this whatsoever. It's more just, I think, how he is throwing the football in those moments where he's not stepping totally into the throw and just kind of shot putting it forward a little bit.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, most definitely. Like we've said that when it comes down to his feet, like be intentional about everything you're doing. Like you got to train yourself to be perfect or
you
to
look
be
confused.
better.
What did I confuse you?
Because I was just I saw I heard some of the conversation in Discord on social media about Cam's not that good and people yelling in basements and stuff. But I thought that this conversation started from the net conversation where they do the pre-practice warm-up drill, throwing it into the 3 hoops or whatever. I thought that's what this was.
This was a different one.
This was a
there
different
was a big bucket net that was sitting in the end zone.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought it was either from the practice reps that they have live that we were discussing, not the net thing.
I got you.
Yeah, this is two different.
None of this is just because of yesterday's practice.
Yeah.
The accuracy stuff, the footwork stuff has more to do with 17-game sample size that we watched last season that I think is continuing to be corrected.
It's fascinating with the completion percentages, though. Like, at the end of the day, it's dubs that's going to matter. And if Cam take care of the ball and don't hurt his team, throwing it away or having flagrant passes that are tipped off or picked off or into the dirt often, then again, this is where I will state again, in my personal opinion, the defense is going to carry the water this year. Cam, to me, is still a co-star in this. No matter how fast people want him to grow up and be a league MVP, there's a step to this process. And this is a new offense, new coaching, new terminology. And I'm sure he's pressing himself to be good. It just takes time.
More takeaways from Titans OTA practice yesterday when we come back. 615-737-1045 for your thoughts. There is a player who we think this offense suits. And a lot of you are going to be very excited about it. We'll talk about that coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster, and I'm with Aaron from United Structure Systems. Man, they came by today to check out my house. If there's anything, any issues, small or big, you're going to fill us in there.
We can take care of it no matter what kind of problems. So first off, we'll just kind of take a look through your house and see what kind of issues you got going. You know, cracks in the brick, cracks in the drywall, weird spots in the floor, doors sticking, windows not opening properly. Once we identify those areas, we're going to do a thorough inspection around the outside, make sure there's no issues going on with that. And then once we look over it, we'll talk about what's going on, and hopefully we ain't got no issues, and then we'll go from there.
Let's go. Let's go.
Mr. Foster, so we have looked at the issues that you brought up. We had the drywall in the attic up here above your bonus or your garage. You had some doors sticking.
I did.
Going in your bathroom. So we've inspected all that. We don't see any major structural concerns. So you're going to be one of our lucky good news customers today. There is some minor deflection there. That's not an uncommon thing. As any house is built, it's its biggest and its strongest the day that it's born. Right, and from that point, it just gets older, just like us. We ain't hopping up out of bed, taking off down the hallway, running those stairs anymore.
Not protecting quarterbacks anymore.
No.
Opening up late. We're done.
Your guard ain't there no more.
Okay,
so.
I got you.
So it just happens. It gets a little older and it starts to deflect. Now, there are some things we can do to kind of help adjust those doors, mainly adjusting in the door, which we don't necessarily do, and maybe doing some light shimming in the crawl space down there to address those sticking doors. But for now, no major issues there. We did talk about the grading in the back and some issues that we can take care of back there for you. But that's pretty much up in a nutshell. No big issues and you're good to go. So.
Awesome. So again, what you deal with United Structural Systems is it's upfront, it's honest, and now I can sleep peacefully at night, okay?
This is a different court, Blair.
Same result, Slay.
Oh, okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jerry's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
What's the verdict, Blair? The courtroom is where I play ball.
Boy, Durham, injury law, and that ain't got no roof.
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
Wrapping up the first half of the show on Tuesday morning's edition of Ramon and Will. Austin Price of VolQuest set to join us in a half hour. Recapping a very big recruiting visit weekend for Tennessee football, including the latest on Baylor school running back David Gabriel Georges that we will bring you coming up at 8:20. Ramon, we were watching practice yesterday at the Vanderbilt Health Football Center, and you noticed something that I thought was very interesting. You told me, and I think you are correct, that you know who this offense kind of suits a little bit?
Tell them, Will.
Xavier Restrepo.
Yes, it does.
Heavy emphasis on a good slot receiver in Brian Dable's offense, right?
Mm-hmm. It is. Heavy emphasis on it.
I don't know. He may end up sticking around.
Okay, let's go.
He may end up sticking around.
No, for real. No, seriously. What is Restrepo's biggest deficiency from his combine and pro day stuff or pro day
size and speed. Probably in the opposite order. Speed and size.
Yes, let's go with the first one right there. Speed.
Yep.
His quickness, you'd say, is there.
I'd say it's good, yeah.
It's good. His bend, there. His ability to catch the ball and get upfield, put his foot in the ground, north and south, is there. The reason I'm not overly stressed about Cam's accuracy when it comes down to what has been documented so far is this. I think this offense is going to be quick, fast, play action, a lot of movement, and that's just based off the Giants tape.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
It fits Cam's style. Look what he did in Miami.
I think it definitely fits Cam's style.
It fit. Now, here's the issue for Xavier Restrepo. And I've been on it. We need to stop talking about it. But then you found yourself go, like you put yourself in the right system, and that system allows you to eat. Mm-hmm. I think this system with Wan'Dale Robinson in front of him, though, will have Restrepo in a position where he's able to stay around. And if there's an issue ever with Wan'Dale Robinson not being available, Restrepo steps in and he cooks. If let's say he gets elevated, I wouldn't worry or stress about Xavier Restrepo getting reps in this offense because I think his production, his ability to catch the ball, his toughness, and his quickness within 10 yards is elite for this offense. For this offense is the emphasis. You saw it, and I saw it.
Well, especially in times where you're going to have two slot receivers on the field at the same time within this system.
Exactly. And, our conversations back there with Brad Hopkins yesterday, we were all out there, and, Brad was first on us just I don't know, Restrepo might do something. And I'm watching it, and I'm just like, this offense is fixed for a guy like him.
In order for Xavier Restrepo to have a chance to be a contributor for the Tennessee Titans in 2026, he needs to continue doing exactly what he is doing right now.
Yeah, he does.
Just keep making plays, but every day.
Every day.
Every time we see you, you got to have 3 or 4 catches.
And he got
the bar is really high for him to clear. But that's just kind of the way life is for an undrafted wide receiver. And the NFL has told us, 32 teams told us, he is an undrafted wide receiver. Yes, so regardless of whether or not you think he is a diamond in the rough or not, it's not his identity as a human, obviously. But as far as his draft stock and what the league told us, he's got to go the extra mile to prove it on the practice field.
Man, Scoop said, wouldn't Chimray be after Wan'Dale in the slot? I don't think for that role.
It's kind of different, right?
It is.
There's a bit more of a speed slot and maybe a more technician over the middle of the field, 10 to 20 yard slot. There is room in this offense. There always has been for 2 slot receivers in the same offense.
Because you get an opportunity to work the linebackers or the second level or bring a safety down or something like that, most definitely.
But yes, DK is obviously ahead of Restrepo within the hierarchy of who gets on the field.
But you bring up a point as far as the pecking order. Going what the league tells us. It would go, let's just any particular order with the first 3. Calvin, Carnell, and Wan'Dale.
Right.
Chim, Ellick.
Then there's a big question mark.
KJ
Osborne. Yes. There's Tyron Montgomery, the John Carroll undrafted. There's Hank Beatty from Illinois. There's Mason Kinsey, who is absolutely still there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you bring up, he got to go do this every single day. He got to make it to be like, who's that on film again? Oh, that was 87 again. And then he also got to add a bunch of a psychotic side to his game too. He has to go and do something nice on special teams.
Right.
He got to do that as well. He has to do that. But as far as his ability to be a playmaker for this offense, he got it in him. When you watch him, you just say, who's that?
He just makes plays.
We were saying that yesterday watching them. Like, who's that again? And it was Restrepo.
It's nothing to be carried away on. I wouldn't recommend buying a jersey, but, I do think that this system gives him an opportunity to do what he does best.
Yes, he does.
Get open over the middle of the field between 0 to 12 yards and find a space in the zone.
And I think Dable likes him, if I can throw that out there.
Okay.
I just think he likes him. I think and that's what it takes sometimes. You need somebody in your corner.
615-737-1045, our number. Last night, the San Antonio Spurs made it a series in the Big Apple. We'll talk about Game 3 of the NBA Finals next.
If you're looking for TRT that's flexible enough for your lifestyle, head over to Low T Center. They are the #1 name in TRT. You can choose testosterone shots, pills, or many of the other options they have. You can also pay with your insurance or out of pocket, and even have your treatment shipped to your door. Here's the other thing, too. It's not that expensive, men, and ladies, to get your life together and just feel better about yourself. And now at Low T Center, they're offering new peptides, new treatments, and so much more, where you can boost your energy, libido, and confidence for the results that you can feel. Synergex and Low T Center provide testosterone replacement therapy and hormone replacement therapy tailored to your body, your lifestyle, and your budget. When your hormones are imbalanced, patients feel fatigued. They have a low sex drive, mood changes, and body changes as well. Balancing your hormones, it means living a better, healthier life. And it's not just for men. Testosterone is important for women, too. It helps boost your energy, your confidence, your drive, and more. And no, it will not, and I repeat, it will not turn you into a man. Doses for women are very careful, so you can, so they can help you meet your own personal goals, man. The free T-test is a simple blood test called a total testosterone test. It takes about 20 minutes. You'll get your results right then and there. But you can book your free testosterone test now by heading over to fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
8:03, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Spurs bounced back, taking Game 3 of the NBA Finals last night, 115-111 over the New York Knicks, led by Victor Wembanyama, who had 32 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. The Spurs win gave New York their first loss in 46 days, ending their 13-game playoff win streak. The Spurs now trail the series 2-1, Game 4, Wednesday night back at Madison Square Garden. NFL news just moments ago, Browns longtime guard Joel Bitonio just announced his retirement from the NFL. And yesterday, Chiefs are re-signing former Titans cornerback L'Jarius Sneed to a 1-year deal worth up to $5 million per his agents, the Katz brothers. Sneed headed back to Kansas City after a 2-year stint in Tennessee, where his injuries plagued him and just played in 12 games for the Titans. Coming up tonight, the Stanley Cup Final continues with Game 4 in Las Vegas, with the Golden Knights holding the 2-1 series lead over the Carolina Hurricanes. Puck drop at 7 o'clock on ABC. The Hurricanes are the slight favorites to win tonight at minus 115 odds. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you've got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour number 3 off and running on Ramon and Will. 615-737-1045 is our number. Austin Price with the latest on David Gabriel Georges coming up in 15 minutes after his visit to Knoxville over the weekend. A lot of national recruiting people starting to lean Vols on that recruitment. The VolQuest guys have been very consistent on the position Tennessee has put itself in. We'll talk about that with Austin coming up here in 15 minutes. Stream it live on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Joel Bitonio just announced his retirement, Ramon. Longtime Cleveland Browns guard,
shout out,
who maybe was an option we'd floated around there at right guard for the Titans at one point. Off the board and unavailable.
Yeah, he is, man. Heck of a career for a guy like him, man. Played in some hard organizations when it comes down to trying to solidify yourself as a pro in this league, and it's hard doing that on bad teams, man. But he stood above that talent and created himself a real good career. I think it's 11 years for him, too. It's a magic number.
There you go.
Is it 12?
12 years.
It was 12. Okay. I got you. But it was super cool watching him do his thing, man. Big old guy. Always was a steady Eddie when it came down to his game. Pro bowler, all pro. He checks a lot of boxes, man. I'm a fan of his, most definitely. I know when we were talking about discussing him, having him here, he's at that age that I was at. Like that 33, 34, teetering 35.
Those June workouts start to get a little bit harder, don't they?
Listen, man, they get a little bit harder this time of the year. And it's not that you don't want to, you don't have the motivation for it.
Sure.
It's just the recovery to keep doing it is a part of it. And when you play that position and you log as many snaps that he has or somebody's been in the league double-digit years, it's hard to go on. For the ones like Trent Williams that are still playing, I got a good friend of mine, Kelvin Beachum, that is still in the league right now. Like, man, trust your body and keep rolling if you can. But
right.
A heck of a career for Joel Bitonio.
Right. 100%. Great career, great player. Another good player, Ramon, who survived Cleveland.
Listen, that's what I mean.
I mean, for lack of a better term.
He saw some of the good. He did see some of the good. Playoffs, he made that. Had to, watch Myles Garrett do his thing, defensive player of the year. It's always cool seeing your teammates get that type of stuff right there. But the inconsistencies they had at quarterback, the coaching changes. I don't think people understand what that does for your career. Mm-hmm. Scheme change, there's a lot that goes into it, man. So a major salute to him. I'm a fan of his, man, and I just want to give him his props, most definitely.
Last night, the San Antonio Spurs beat the New York Knicks 115-111 as Stephon Castle and Victor Wembanyama became the first pair of teammates aged 22 or younger to each score 20 points or more in a finals game. 6 Spurs were in double figures as San Antonio took a double-digit lead in the first quarter, just as it had done in the 2 previous games of the series that they ended up losing. This did look, Ramon, like the same script at the end of the second quarter. As New York came back, they took a halftime lead. Charles Barkley sat at a desk and said the series is over. And Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs said, I don't think so. Yeah. Knicks were outshot at the free throw line 24-8 through the final 9:18 of the fourth quarter, where the Knicks were in the bonus. OG Anunoby had 28. Jalen Brunson, a good night scoring and shooting. However, turnovers, an issue for the New York Knicks in this one, and just the overall sloppiness at the beginning of the game, Ramon. They had a chance, if they had come out of the gates the way they did in the second quarter, to be up by 15 points at halftime, and this thing might be out of reach.
No doubt.
But they allowed San Antonio to get up early. They got back in the second quarter, and the Knicks just couldn't make shots in the fourth quarter that they had been hitting in the entire series.
Man, the Spurs are playing like the rent was due. That's exactly what they were doing. And this is also a situation we spoke about a little bit yesterday. Like, here's the thing that New York has to realize. The Spurs have been in this mode before. They have had to go to OKC. They won a Game 7 on the road in Oklahoma City to close out the defending world champions, on top of him having the league MVP as well. This pressure right here is not new to them. They just had to find their adjustment. Their adjustment was having Wemby be closer to the rim. They were aggressive, giving him the ball early. You had Stephon Castle being able to knock down shots and get to the free throw line early too. And the other part as well, Karl Anthony Towns didn't play that significant of a role throughout the duration of the game. He made no threes. They were also going into the fourth quarter, I think 0 for 9 for 3. I think they ended up at the end of the game 1 for 11 for 3 going into the fourth quarter, the last 8 minutes of the game. There wasn't a lot for them. They got off script. I think they let a little bit of the theatrics of being inside of the Garden, all the celebrities play a part in it, and thought that they were going to roll over. You can't do that to a team that's played a 7-game series. The one thing about the Knicks at this point has been this. They've rolled everybody. They are good, but now they have to deal with a team and get punched in the mouth. How did they respond? They didn't respond well. Josh Hart was fire hot in the first half. Then he went missing.
Cooled off.
Who else was there for him? And the foul discrepancy. Okay, here's the thing. They had to foul the Spurs. They beat the heck out of Wemby. He shot. He made his free throws. And when you have a young fella like Dylan Harper that's not afraid to go to the rim, Stephon Castle's not afraid to go to the rim. And then, of course, they bled the clock out and they had to foul at the end. Like, there's more context that I think the national people are saying about 24-8 free throws. Who else was trying to drive for the Knicks? Nobody. It was only Jalen Brunson.
It was Jalen Brunson, right? That was it.
And he got his fouls. Mm-hmm. Karl Anthony Towns wasn't going to get anything because Wemby wasn't getting anything either.
And the Knicks shot 36% in the second half and were 7 for 27 in the fourth quarter, taking lower percentage shots. And two, I think some credit belongs to Victor Wembanyama on just playing lockdown defense in the fourth quarter as well.
It was a whole lot better.
We gave the stat earlier from ESPN Insights. The Knicks were 0 of 4 when trying to shoot over Victor Wembanyama defense in the fourth quarter, 2 of 11 in the entire game.
Yeah, I see Emin in our chat says Wemby got to Karl Anthony Towns has to wake up. He was awake, I felt, in the first quarter and a half, and then it just kind of fizzled off. They put a guard on him or small forward on him, and he wasn't as effective getting to the rim. Mm-hmm. Wemby played defense around the paint better than I think he did the first 2 games as well, and they adjusted. You got to give it to the Spurs staff on this one.
And the Spurs just didn't back down at all. Yeah, in the second quarter, the Spurs were outscored by 18 points, 42-28. Or no, that doesn't make sense. 42-24 is the actual score, but they didn't back down going into halftime.
Yeah,
third quarter, they lit it on fire, and I thought that Wemby defense combined with Stephon Castle's offense and the bench with Dylan Harper, I think they outshined. Dylan Harper can jump. He can rebound with the best of them because he comes out from the 3-point line on a free throw.
Yeah,
and then we'll go get the board.
Yes.
So the Spurs are getting that backups that they didn't get in the first 2 games, and then they just had the answer for Karl Anthony Towns that they didn't have before.
Who is it? Chris brings it up in our chat. It's like, yeah, OG Anunoby, he did go off, but it was later in the game when they were trailing. I felt like a good bit. He made some clutch shots on the corner that was good. But you bring up the point. The Spurs bench, I thought, delivered more. You look at the pluses and minuses of this game from the Knicks bench. You got 2 guys, Mitchell Robinson and also Landry Shamet. Mitchell Robinson is minus 13 in his 7 minutes that he played in this game.
That's hard to do.
That's hard to do.
That's legitimately impressive.
Because he was also fouling. And then you also have Landry Shamet, who was lost, I felt like, in his inability to make the clutch shots, which he usually does, or just as we said earlier, like there wasn't as much help for Bronson.
Mm-hmm. Robinson actually didn't have a foul in the game. He was just bad.
Well, that's even worse.
Yeah.
Coming up, Austin Price of AllQuest joins us, the latest on Tennessee football's pursuit of five-star running back David Gabriel Georges for the Baylor School in Chattanooga after this. Buying or selling a home in Middle Tennessee is a big challenge. It's a challenge anywhere, as hot as the real estate market is here in Nashville. Are you positive you're getting the best value from your home if you're selling? Well, Bernie Gallerani can get you that value. What's up? It's Will Boulding. Bernie Gallerani guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it. Yeah, there's no risk to you. No catch. Bernie will let you out of the contract at any time. He is the real estate agent who has the 30-day guarantee to sell your home, and if not, he will buy it from you. Some restrictions may apply, but he is going to get you top dollar for your home. That's what Bernie Gallerani and his team do. They'll take care of the little things. They'll take care of the process. They'll take the stress out of moving. If you're interested in finding out more, and you should be if you're moving here in Middle Tennessee, check him out online at BernieGallerani.com. You can call him directly on his cell phone at 615-428-2644. Get the 30-day guarantee by going online to BernieGallerani.com. 615-428-2644. That's Bernie Gallerani Real Estate online at BernieGallerani.com. It's Austin Price's music here on a Tuesday morning edition of Ramon and Will with a ton to get to. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling at Austin Priceless, where you get the nuggets on Twitter, VolQuest.com, the General's Quarters, the War Room, all of it. The authority for Tennessee athletics coverage, of course. Austin, good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
We're good. I told you yesterday my screen time was up this past weekend from refreshing all the updates on David Gabriel George's visit in Knoxville. Austin, I know you talked with him and you were able to get everything about his visit and get all the details. How much did Tennessee help itself, in your opinion, with David Gabriel George's this weekend?
I think Tennessee, as I said yesterday on another show, I think they emptied the chamber, right? I mean, they emptied the clip. They shot all the bullets, whatever you want to say. They did everything they wanted to do. I think they impressed David Gabriel George's. I think they impressed the family. I still don't think a decision's been made one way or the other. I said that going into the visit after Ohio State was feeling good and he got all the predictions and the crystal balls. I didn't believe it was done then. Still don't believe it's done now. I think he's supposed to go to Ole Miss this weekend and then Georgia, and then we'll see if he takes, both or one or neither of those visits. And then, we'll see if he sticks to the July 22nd date. Right now it's still set for that. But I can kind of sense, and he's kind of over the process, right? I mean, he really took the last 4 or 5 months away from taking visits and all that stuff, and just kind of focused on, himself and getting better and all that stuff at Baylor. And now he's returned to the visits, and I think he's just like, okay, I've seen enough, And I think that's why I like the Tennessee visit, Will, because they didn't make him do all the different stuff, right? I mean, he went through the photo shoot, and I don't even think he did all the stations at the photo shoot because, he's just not a me kid. He's just more low key, and I think he'd like to be able just to hang out with his buddies, Jamie and Theodore, Gabe and those guys he's known from Baylor, and just kind of chill. Like it was a chill weekend for him. I mean, Alvin Kamara came up, and they painted the rock for him, and he got to do some of that stuff, but like he still got to just see his buddies, and it made it feel like what it was like when they were all together at Baylor.
Austin, how big of an impact did Alvin Kamara maybe have on the visit overall? This is his favorite NFL player, correct? Or favorite running back, at least?
That's correct. He loves Alvin. I think, those two had spoken before at some point, I believe. But, for Alvin to come up and see, DGG on his visit, I think that definitely left an impression on him. I mean, is it the end-all, be-all? No, right? I mean, it's like somebody said about somebody like, painting the rock, what does that matter? And I'm like, well, in the grand scheme, it doesn't, but like, it just makes you, it provides an experience that makes you feel a certain way. And when I was talking to DGG after the visit, he brought up the rock. I was going to do it in the question, but he did it on his own. It stood out enough to him, and made him feel special. And I think Alvin coming up did the same. It's not going to be why he picks Tennessee. If he picks Tennessee, it's going to be just a nice, I guess, cherry on top of the whipped cream that made the visit extra special for DGG.
John by Austin Price of VolQuest and on 3 this morning. Austin, I will say with the Alvin Kamara side of it, I'm glad that he didn't hide from it. He tweeted out and put on his Instagram story.
You know why I'm here. You know why I'm here.
I'm here. I love the fact that Alvin's showing everybody this side, though, man. But what's next for DGG and other potential visits, man, that are still on the roster? I know you mentioned Ole Miss and Georgia, and I think Georgia got their 4 or 5-star running back as well. What's next for him?
Yeah, he just kind of leaned into it, didn't he? He wasn't like you with the whole Titan switch over, like kind of being secretive and keeping it,
I thought we were friends. I thought we were friends.
We are. That's why we like to.
And that's why we jab. That's why we jab. You a lefty or righty? Which one I got to protect first, Austin? Which one?
I'm ambidextrous. Hit a golf ball right-handed, hit a baseball left-handed. Now, honestly, I hit a baseball terribly left-handed. Maybe I should have been hitting it right-handed all those years. But for him, he's supposed to go to Ole Miss this weekend and Georgia next. I don't see Georgia bringing him in.
Yeah.
Like, even if he intends to, like they have Keenan Spell, like I don't think I'm rocking that boat if I'm Georgia at all. And it doesn't make any sense. So I think he probably takes Ole Miss and then does not take a visit next weekend. And maybe he wants to get over with. But is there a push from others, to want to wait till July 22nd in terms of, like, does the family want him to go ahead and get it over with? Do they want him to wait? How does that process work? Again, a lot of times it's never just one person making the decisions in these things. Now, sometimes it is. Sometimes it's solely driven by one. But in a lot of instances, the families and the people around a player have, a say or a thought process. So, I guess we'll see how this all plays out. I'll be shocked if he takes the trip to Georgia, because I just think Georgia will end up, telling him not to, because I don't think they want to rock the boat with Keenan Spell.
That makes sense. Now, Austin, I'm not sure if you saw the social medias the way I did this past week, but there were people livid about UT being in a position where they want to elevate the business school and saying the Haslam should have given that $130 million to the athletic department. Okay, let me just preface with that. They said they should have given all the money to the athletic department. Imagine that. Okay, the man got his name on the building. Where I'm going to is this: how competitive or how broke are we when it comes down to Ohio State's NIL package versus the Vols, man? Because this is going to be a part of that conversation as well.
Are you saying is Tennessee willing to go to extreme lengths to land DGG?
Yes.
Yes, they are. Okay. I mean, this is one like that. The hills are dug in. They're not going to. When I say empty the chamber and all that stuff, like that's what I'm talking about too. I mean, like, yeah, you're pulling out all the stops, with Alvin coming up and so on and so forth, but you're also bringing everything you got from the rev share NIL piece. And I believe Tennessee, if not the best, is right there with Ohio State. I mean, I know what, because there's a lack of transparency on this whole thing. Mm-hmm. You don't really know what the other side is doing. But I think Tennessee has offered a package that I don't think I would have ever imagined them offering for a running back 2 years ago.
Austin Price of AllQuest, our guest this morning here on Ramon and Will. Austin, it's amazing how much the brand and just overall recognition of Adidas has changed over the years. And you go from a couple of years ago when this deal was originally announced to, this is not the move, and, it's not as cool as Nike. It doesn't feel like that is really the conversation anymore, Austin. How big of an impact has Adidas and this apparel deal that's going to take over in July helped Tennessee in recruiting for football specifically?
Will, how old are you?
I am 28 years old.
Okay. Ramon, how old are you?
40.
I'm 43. Okay. And even at 28 years old, Will, none of us that are talking right here understand how kids think.
Yeah, right.
Like the words the kids use, that, all that stuff. 6, 7. I mean, and I know that's even a lower level of kids, right? Right. It's like a middle school kid. But what is cool to kids? Like kids have started to think Adidas was cool a couple of years ago,
right?
But like to the fans, to Bob from Alcoa or Larry from Hendersonville or Gene from Martin, they all think Nike's cool, right? I mean, because they're older, and they don't think Adidas is cool. But see, the way kids view things is different than how adults view things, right? And I think that's kind of what you're seeing here is like, the Adidas part of it is, it's much more cool. And listen, at the end of the day, if Adidas gets you more money than Nike was going to, the kids want the money, man. That's right. They don't care about the check and the stripes and all that stuff. They want the money. They want the money. And so, again, I think for kids, Adidas started to get cool, about 2 to 3 years ago, which is ahead of this. And so, the move to Adidas was not as eye-opening in a negative way that for kids as it was the fans. The fans are like, oh, Adidas,
Yeah.
But the truth is, for kids, they're like, man, I want some Adidas shoes. Give me some Adidas shoes. I mean, you hear the players talk about, Adidas cleats and this and that, and like how they like them better. So, again, kids are kids. They view it differently than you and I and everybody else our age does. And, I think that's kind of where it's at.
Just to add to that, too, I got a high schooler, and we were trying to get some Adidas cleats earlier this year for baseball. They were sold out and did not come back in stock, to your point, Austin. And not just that, but the clothing that Adidas have, I think, is more wearable for what their fashion is right now as opposed to what Nike. Like, Nike's doing it, too, but they'll elect to go Adidas, it blew my mind. So, yeah, you're right. If you're outside of that age range of 14 to 19, I guess, you've kind of missed the boat on where Adidas has been. They attacked the high school ranks harder than Nike did, and Nike's actually, I think, hurting from that as well now.
Well, it's like going to Atlanta or Dallas or Los Angeles, things that are in those cities,
yep.
And then coming to Knoxville are two totally different things, right? I mean, and that, I don't mean like from a clothing standpoint. I'm talking about just in general life. It hits a big city quicker. It hits a younger generation quicker than it does, I mean, listen, we all know my affinity for Peter Millar. I mean, if Danny White could have signed a Peter Millar deal.
I'm with you.
You win.
You put the crown on the jerseys. Now that's where it's at. It's one of those things that I think fans get caught up in talking about, but the kids on a smaller level maybe do, but don't really care at the end of the day.
Fair. Absolutely. Austin Price of AllQuest with us. Austin, what is Tennessee like about new corner commitment Dylan Haley? I know that's a player that a lot of SEC schools are battling for.
Yeah, long, athletic, and just loves. He's twitchy, and they feel like we'll make a really good corner at the next level. And Tennessee's kind of been going hard there on him for a couple of months, and they were able to get it done this weekend, beat out Ole Miss for him.
For sure. Where else did Tennessee help itself the most on the recruiting trail over the weekend? DGG wasn't the only guy, and I saw there was a crystal ball from an offensive lineman as well. So where else did they kind of attack over the weekend?
Yeah, Kamari Hudson. Virginia Tech's still in that one. Don't sleep on the Hokies for Hudson. He was going to go back home and work towards a decision. Trey Gathers looks like he's headed to Florida. The linebacker, who Robert Gathers' son. I think Tennessee did a nice job with Kanaz Sullivan. I think they did a nice job with Tayshaun Poole, both safeties. And, again, I think the way that this class is built and constructed is going to be different than Tennessee fans are accustomed to, because I don't think they're going to sign 22, 25 high school guys. I think it's going to be somewhere between 15 and 20. Don't expect their ranking to be great, even if you land DGG and flip one or two more, it's just going to be what it is. They're just not going to take enough kids to end up highly ranked, because they would rather get higher end kids. Like Tennessee would love to, land, DGG. They'd love to land DJ Jacobs, flip him from Ohio State. They'd love to flip Kenny Simon from Alabama if they could, right down the line. They'd love to land a couple more of these higher end players, and then utilize the portal. I think they're trying to get away from it. I've talked about this a little bit. They're trying to get away from paying kids a crazy amount of money just to stand there. They did that with a few kids over the last handful of years because it looked pretty on signing day, but it wasn't going to correlate to quick playing time at the next level. And so you're trying to get away from that. Go get the guys that you feel like can help you, can play right away, can be factors. Inevitably, some of them might not, but if you go into it knowing, okay, that player's 2 years away, putting a bunch of money into him doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? And, but whereas if you go into it thinking, okay, I think he can help us, and he gets here and he can't, okay, well, we thought he could help us. That's different than knowing a kid is 2 to 3 years away from being able to help you.
Also, just kind of
money into him.
Sure, and just kind of following up on that too. I know it's apples and oranges comparing basketball and football and the amount of roster spots you have, but that does sound a little bit like Rick Barnes's production over retention, and Josh Elander, production over retention. And hey, like, we're going to go maybe emphasize the portal a little bit more. Is this a stance that you think is an athletic department wide kind of philosophy? Is this Josh Heupel and Tennessee football making a bit of a shift to emphasize the portal a little bit more? A little bit of both, Austin?
I think a little bit of both.
Okay,
I think a little bit of both. I think a little bit of both. I think the athletic department likes this model. I think football sees the value in this model, which is why you've seen them shift over.
Sure.
But again, it is different. So football, you've got to have depth, and you got to go to practice, and you got to have to build that. So that's why you go for some big time guys. Then you take some players that you think are maybe developmental that aren't going to cost you a king's ransom, and then develop those players. Because if you've got two players, one's like a lot prettier, a lot more athletic, but both are 2 to 3 years away from playing. You're going to take the kid that doesn't cost you a king's ransom. That way, you're not putting a ton of resources into it. And then you take the other kid, and you just develop them, and you just work with them and develop, and see where you're at in 2 to 3 years. And I think that's kind of where this thing's at. Is like you want to try to you can't just go straight to the portal for 85 to 105 guys like you can in basketball. In basketball, it's got 2 returners out of their 14 players or whatever it is.
Right.
You can't do that percentage in football. It's just not feasible. Right. So you have to still recruit the high school ranks, but maybe you don't have to recruit them to the point where you sign 25. Maybe sense. You sign 18.
Interesting.
Sounds like the old school ways of coaching.
Yeah, right.
Retain
picking your battles.
Yeah, pick your battles.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Austin, real quick, I wanted to just hit one note on baseball, too, on the way out. And Austin Knight being brought in as the pitching coach, the portal up and running for Josh Elander. How big of a get was this, bringing in Austin Knight, and what stands out to you about him?
Well, he's got an elite first name. And
of course.
And obviously has done a really nice job. Year after year after year of producing pitching staffs that are deep, that are versatile, and that perform at a high level, and does it at I call it a tradition-rich school for baseball in East Carolina. Now, again, they've not made it to Omaha, but they certainly have been knocking on the door every year. You're doing more with less, at that spot. And so he's done a fantastic job. Obviously, he played in this league as a catcher at Ole Miss, so he understands the SEC and this league in baseball. And again, I think, to be able to get him in the fold, I think was a nice get. And kudos to Elander. He liked Josh Reynolds, but did see some chinks in the armor of the pitching side this year. And listen, Reynolds was put in a weird spot, just basically thrust into what was Frank's hand-picked pitching staff and asked to go do it. It just didn't work. And Elander did not just wait around. He was not. Listen, I think Elander's a loyal guy, but I think Elander knew, okay, I got this job. They're not going to give me 6 years to flip this thing around, and they expect me to keep the train on the tracks. We did okay this year, won near 40 games and all that, but we got to be better in year 2. So he made the changes necessary to do that, in my mind.
He is Austin Price of VolQuest and On 3. Great time to become a VolQuest subscriber if you are somehow not already. VolQuest.com, the place to go for the latest on all things Tennessee athletics. Austin, appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
Hey, Austin, real quick.
Yo.
Who's the starting quarterback for the Vols?
It's to be determined. To be determined. I much like I've said, DGG has not made a decision as of now. And listen, I still like Tennessee here, and I feel like Tennessee's in a good spot. No decision's been made on the quarterback spot. George is going to have to bring it early in fall camp. He's going to have to be really good those first two scrimmages. So will Faison. And in my mind, George has got to be better than Faison, because if they're even, I think the tendency there and the notion there would be to go with the younger kid who's got I would call it more upside because his body's built just a little bit of a different way. George can still win this job though. It's not handed to Faison. And I've had 2 or 3 people in the building tell me the whole notion being written out there that this is just Faison is wrong. Okay. It could be Faison, but it could be George. George has got to I call it build on what he did at the back end of spring and then go have a really good start to fall camp. It'll be decided those first couple of weeks, those first 2 scrimmages.
That's a good place to be. That's a good place to be.
Good intel. Thank you, Austin. Appreciate you.
It, Austin.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Austin Price. A ton of nuggets in that visit this morning.
It was. You know what I forgot we ain't asked about as of late since he got on campus? It's Tristan Keys.
I thought you were going to say Chaz Coleman. We never ask about him.
Yeah. Listen, no Chaz news is good news.
Yeah, right. Well, no, it means that
at this point,
he's not going to be on the team.
He might be working out.
Magic Johnson, he ain't going to be.
He might be working. He went and picked up a Cadillac like last week.
Let's react to what Austin told us. I think there's enough stuff there for us to spend a little bit more time on it. Interesting philosophical shift being made by Josh Heupel in Tennessee football that we'll talk more about next. Wrapping up hour number 3 this morning on Ramon and Will. Steve Palazzolo of the 33rd team. We'll talk Titans and NFL with us at 9:20. 615-737-1045 is our number. Great stuff with Austin Price a few minutes ago. If you're just now joining us, at 10 o'clock, we'll put the podcast out of Austin Price's visit with us, our VolQuest Insider. One of 2 that we have weekly on the show between him and Brent Hubbs, Fridays at 7:20. A lot of nuggets. Austin telling us right up there at the end he still feels like Tennessee is in a good spot for David Gabriel Georges. Says that if all things are equal, you would think that the general thinking is that Faison Brandon would get the edge over George McIntyre at quarterback, but that battle is far from over, as he says multiple people in the building told him. But what I want to spend more time on, Ramon, is the bigger picture. The fact that he says expect Tennessee to sign more like 15 to 20 higher-end high school recruits and spend a little bit more time on immediate contributors and maybe a little bit more NIL money on transfers. You were nodding your head as he was talking about that.
Yes. I like the approach. Why spend so much time accumulating bodies just for the sake of it? Like Austin mentioned, like you got to have depth. Football is a depth-based sport. You are as strong as your weakest link. But to have a huge signing day or just to be grabbing guys because you're in competition with other teams, no, be strategic. Be very careful with the money as well. Understand what you're after and what you want your program to look like. And I feel like in today's world of recruiting is how many can I get? How many can I stash? This isn't the old ways of doing it. What I hate and the reason why I was nodding my head is because I think if you're a fan of any college team, why am I going to invest in player A, B, C, D, and E and expect them to be around when you spend 1 year of Derek Owens off season getting developed and next thing you know you hop in the portal? No, go grab the guys that you know you're either going to play or, hey, find yourself in a position where you have 2 and 3 stars players that are going to be more loyal to you than the 4 and 5 star guys. I won't necessarily say the 5, but the high 4 stars.
Right.
They feel like they should be 5s and should have got $100,000 more. And now I'll spend a year in your program. I'll give me some good tape. I'll stay healthy. And my agent's making calls already.
Right.
No, get the dudes that you know you're going to use. Or 2 years from now, 3 years from now, this guy stepped up into a role because he understands his offense and it's his time.
I think the 2024 class for Tennessee is the example. And we'll see if the 25 class ends up being similar because those guys have only finished 1 season. So a lot of that class is still together that was ranked 9th overall and on 3. But of Tennessee's 2024 class, doesn't really matter if you rank in the top 15 in high school recruiting if the guys that got you that ranking are only there for a year to sit and say, oh, well, I think I should be playing and somebody else is going to offer me more, so I'm just going to leave. Like Jordan Ross was a 5-star in the 2024 class. He's an LSU Tiger.
Go.
Mike Matthews and Braylon Staley. All right, those are 2 guys that you've gotten on the field quickly. Boo Carter, we know about him.
Oh.
Peyton Lewis, next highest ranked, Virginia Tech. Bennett Warren, tackle. He's a Minnesota Golden Gopher now. Caleb Beasley, Louisville Cardinal. Jake Merklinger, UConn Husky. William Satterwhite, LSU Tiger. I mean, we're going down the list. Like, there are 2 guys that are still on the team of, like, the top 10 recruits in your class. And that was just 2 years ago. Like, those guys should be juniors this year.
Be ready to roll.
Max Anderson, Kentucky. Kellen Lindstrom, Missouri State.
Yeah.
Like, I still haven't even found the 3rd player who is still on the team. There we go. Edwin Spillman.
Wow.
That's the next highest ranked guy. And I just went in order down the 2024 recruiting class. I think that Ole Miss got the balance right last year. And part of that is because they hit on Trinidad Chambliss, a quarterback that was brought in expected to be a backup and ended up being one of the best quarterbacks in the country by the time he was done in the season. But you saw Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin consistently live between 20 to 30 in high school recruiting rankings. We are 10 years removed from that being just like a total disqualifier from being competitive.
Right.
You used to not be able to be ranked outside the top 10 consistently in recruiting and have a chance to win a national championship. The transfer portal has changed that significantly. And I like that Josh Heupel and Tennessee football are willing to think a bit differently about the way that they construct their roster.
I got an ultimate case. And there's numerous ultimate cases. You have a guy that was injured early in the season, Ricky Gibson. Spends the entire season getting healthy, I'm sure.
Yep.
Watching his team compete. And soon as the portal's open, he's gone. And immediately to Texas A&M.
Right.
I mean, like, what are we doing in those situations right there? Like, he, in my opinion, would have been a penciled-in starter easily. Sure. And then he's gone. So you have to shift. You have to adjust.
The risk involved with that, though, Ramon, is that if you are going to spend an inordinate amount of money on the top of the high school recruiting, because you still need to get 5 stars. There's no question. Like, you still got to win some of the big boy battles that we talk about. It does add a little bit of pressure in a recruitment like David Gabriel George's. Yeah. Because if you're not bringing in the middle 4-star, the good player that's not elite, but also not a 3-star, with all due respect.
Right. I was a 3-star.
Yeah, no, 3 stars are the foundation of your program still, and you hope that they stick around to see the process through and to be redshirt sophomores and be ready to start.
Yes.
Jesse Perry is a great example.
Beautiful example.
Of a player who was brought in knowing, hey, I was in a run first offense at Middle Tennessee Christian in high school. I've got to put on a lot of weight. I've got to learn how to pass protect.
Yep.
He did, and now he's ready.
He was a day 1 starter last year.
Not everyone's that patient.
No.
And he was patient to wait his turn and learn to play a different style of football. The guy that's brought in as a top 150 player, let's say between 75 to 150, who is good enough to expect to play right away, but just raw enough to maybe still make some freshman mistakes and not be ready to play great right away, is more likely to leave. What that means is you better still get the top 75 players. Because, Ramon, I believe that the money is going to be mostly equal and also ridiculous because you're going to have to overpay for players like David Gabriel George's. Austin Price said it with us a few minutes ago. He said, Tennessee is willing to go to lengths that I never thought they'd go for a running back a couple years ago. You could do that and still lose, and he'd go to Ohio State.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden, you're looking around saying, all right, well, now I got to go get a top-of-the-line running back in the portal next year. As long as you're willing to take that risk, I'm all right with living this life.
Sure.
At the end of the day, though, we've talked about it. I know I'm rambling, so I'll shut up here in a second.
That's perfect.
At the end of the day, when money is all equal, this just goes back to old school recruiting again.
That's it.
Can you get a deal over the line? Can you get a relationship, a friendship, a partnership with a family and a young athlete over the line? Because when everyone has money, that's your qualifier. That's your tiebreaker again.
But to add to it real quick, though, too, if they're not overspending to retain or get high school, then you can spend more.
You're a bit more willing to, like, who are you overspending for? Yep. Are you overspending for a lot of pretty good guys? Or are you overspending for one elite guy who has a high enough floor to where you are still comfortable putting them on the field early? Because I think David Gabriel George's could start for Tennessee in their 3 running back rotation right now.
Crazy.
If he could forego his senior season at Baylor. I think this kid is that good. I've not seen the guy ranked ahead of him in the rankings. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on all of the high school running backs of the country. I will just say, having watched David Gabriel George's in person, I'd love to see the player better than him at running back in high school right now. Because I don't know how someone can look more impressive and college ready than David Gabriel George's does at Baylor right now at the highest level of Tennessee high school football. He is... I'm not tapping brakes. There's no parking brake. I'm in first gear going downhill. This guy's unbelievable.
Yeah.
He is truly, Ramon, unbelievable. And even if he goes to Ohio State, I'm not changing my tune on that. The guy is unreal.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to see him in person.
Me too. Be fascinating. For a running back. And they still matter in college, though, too. That's the thing.
100%. It's still a run-first offense that Tennessee's running. Coming up, let's talk about quarterbacks a little bit from Titans OTAs yesterday. The good and bad of one Will Levis after this.
It's Ramon Foster from Medical House Calls, where they're available to you 7 days a week. Yes, that's Monday through Sunday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. They have same-day appointments available to you or next day guaranteed. And the process is simple, man. You can call or text Medical House Calls, and their team will assess what you need within minutes. You can book your visit wherever you are, and after that, a quick chat, they will schedule to come to wherever you are dwelling, okay? I had them come to my house, personal testimony for me. Had them come to my house. I was feeling a little bit under the weather. They came over and administered me an IV bag, gave me all the medicine and nutrients that I needed to get myself feeling back. I came back into work the next day, and I felt amazing, okay? It's just what they do. For a flat fee, you can get an evaluation, full exam, treatment plan, and prescriptions if you need it. I'm talking about everything from sicknesses, infections, injuries, in-home labs, testing, and so much more. It just allows you to have a little bit more of a private visit for your doctor visit where you don't have to go sit in those urgent care waiting rooms. I believe in it. I trust it. I like it a lot, okay? The website is medicalhousecalls.com, or you can call or text them, 615-838-2375.
9:04. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Spurs bounced back, taking Game 3 of the NBA Finals last night, 115 to 111 over the New York Knicks, led by Victor Wembanyama, who had 32 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists on the night. The Spurs ended the Knicks' 13-game playoff win streak. The Spurs now trail the series 2-1, with Game 4 set for Wednesday night back at Madison Square Garden. NFL news earlier this morning: the Browns' longtime guard Joel Bitonio announced his retirement from the NFL after 12 seasons. Bitonio earned 7 Pro Bowl nods and was a second-round pick for Cleveland back in 2014. Yesterday, the Chiefs re-signed former Titans cornerback L'Jarius Sneed to a 1-year deal worth up to $5 million. Per sources, Sneed is headed back to Kansas City after a 2-year stint in Tennessee, where Sneed played just 12 games for the Titans as he struggled to stay on the field due to injuries. And coming up tonight, the Stanley Cup Final continues with Game 4 in Las Vegas as the Golden Knights hold the 2-1 series lead over the Carolina Hurricanes. Puck drop tonight is set for 7 o'clock on ABC. The Hurricanes are slight favorites to win tonight at -115 odds. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go to the fourth and final hour of the show. 9 a.m. is here already on Ramon and Will. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Justin Hawkins, our producer. Steve Palazzolo of Check the Mic via the 33rd team coming up here in 15 minutes. Your phone calls at 615-737-1045. Our number as always. Titans OTA practice yesterday. We will be back out there again today. Thursday, you will hear from Coach Robert Saleh and select players after practice, Saleh before practice, for an open session again. Does Ramon know we have a radio show to do? Where is he?
I have no idea.
Usually when the red light comes on, he comes hustling back in here. He gets distracted by Big Boss Bert out there. It is 9:07 in America's Music City. And right now, it's Justin and Will.
How's it going?
I would ask you your opinion of what you saw from the Titans quarterbacks yesterday, but you weren't at practice.
Nope, only saw things through social media.
Well, let's talk about Will Levis. Because Shad Banks had an interception on a ball in the red zone from Will Levis yesterday. Then you had a nice throw to Jaron Kanik on a pass downfield. I'm texting Ramon right now to tell him to get back in here. We're back. Send. Now the clock starts. 9:07:45 was when we texted Ramon that we were back.
This is wild.
Jim Wyatt, it's the latest he's ever been getting back in here. Jim Wyatt had him 6 of 10 on the day and in team periods and 7-on-7 combined. There's Ramon. Hey. That's the latest you've ever gone without being back in here. The music's been off for minutes. You are way late. Was Big Boss Bert distracting you?
Yes, he was.
What's up, Pookie?
Yeah.
Where you been?
It's 9:08. Pookie.
Who's he been talking to?
Who is Pookie?
That's my family nickname. For
Oh,
Is it really?
It is.
What
Did you just say that randomly?
I sure did.
No. I got my aunties still call me that.
Okay.
Get out of Big Boss Bert,
Appreciate
man.
you coming back to work.
I should yell in here, but I don't want to yell into the mic, though. We were discussing Titans practice, though, is what we were talking about, though.
Well, do you want to talk about Will Levis?
Yeah, he asked me, but I wasn't there.
Yeah, Justin, your thoughts on Will Levis?
Yeah,
yesterday?
what do you got? Fake it till you make it.
He still wears the same number.
He does.
He made a couple throws. Some were good, some were bad. And that's all that I saw through the Twitterverse.
Well, we got a little bit more than that.
What do you make of Will Levis and the mistakes that he continues to make right now, Ramon Foster?
The issues that I have for him is the people who are picking him off aren't cornerbacks. They are linebackers. That's been
Shad
reported.
Banks yesterday, undrafted linebacker, gets the pick on him.
They're linebackers that are getting him. And I'm trying to figure out where are his eyes? What is his tail that he's giving away? Is he only going one option? What is his body showing from him? And why are you missing these linebackers who are closer to the line of scrimmage than the cornerbacks on the outside that are going against wide receivers. If that's the case, why are you forcing it? What's the adjustment that you have to make in these moments? He's in a tricky situation. Very tricky. Mitch Trubisky yesterday looked like quarterback 2 and is going to be quarterback 2. The money suggested as well. He's over $5 million, I guess, whatever it is for backup. Yeah, it's him. He's got to fight. Will Levis can't have these moments because the public reputation of his now is he's a turnover machine and he can't make decisive decisions with the ball. And it's what it looked like, especially when you got backers picking you off, though, too. And I'm not trying to minimize linebackers.
Sure.
But when you're that close to the line of scrimmage and they're seeing what you're seeing and they're making a better play than you are a pass,
right,
that's where it becomes a little bit problematic.
Will Levis does not get the luxury of making the same mistakes over and over again in order to get the end result of what he wants. And that's a chance to play in the National Football League and be on the field and out on the sideline with his helmet on or with a clipboard in his hand. It's not fair, but it is the reality of where he was selected, who he is, the chance to start that he already received compared to Cam Ward. Cam Ward is going into year 2. Cam Ward is also continuing to make some of the same mistakes that he made last season. He gets time to still work his way out of those mistakes. He is the number 1 overall pick. He is heading into year 2. Remember how confident we all were about Will Levis heading into year 2. So before we get anything about, well, why are you giving Levis crap for things you're not criticizing Cam for? No, going into year 2, we were talking about Levis the exact same way we're talking about Cam. Hey, here are the issues. Here are the things that need to be corrected. He's got time to make them, but generally we feel optimistic.
Yeah.
Well, the issues weren't corrected and Will lost his opportunity. It's also fair to assume that, again, a number 1 overall pick gets more time to make mistakes and gets more time to show what he can do because he has a higher overall ceiling. So that's number 1. But secondly, Will Levis is going to need to show a bit more consistency in order to create additional trade value for himself in the preseason, in joint practices, in preseason games. The level for me, Ramon, in my opinion, has got to be raised for him to get what he wants.
Brother.
And that's a chance to play in the National Football League. Whether that be QB2 here, maybe that's the end goal. Maybe the goal is to play well enough to where you force a trade. Not by requesting it, but by playing so well that the Titans say, hey, this is a surplus. We can get something for you.
Surplus.
And it's a win for everyone. Levis gets a fresh start, a new lease on life, and the Titans get a draft pick in return. That feels like the best outcome for all parties. I think he's got to play better than what we've seen so far, though, Ramon, for that to happen and for the Titans to really get anything significant out of it.
He does. And specifically, like he dropped a beautiful bomb to Bryce
Jaron Kanek.
It's Jaron Kanek.
Yeah, that's right. He had the one in the back of the end zone.
Yep,
that's true.
He did. No, it didn't. That one was brought back. Coach.
No, that was DK.
was DK.
DK had a catch along the sideline that was brought back because they said he got 1 foot in, and he thought he got 2. Yes,
that was a sack given up by Gus
It's in
Bradley.
Jim Wyatt's. It's in Jim Wyatt's piece.
What about the sack that was given up by Gus Bradley? He brought him back to 4th and 15th.
That one is a different one too.
Was it a different one?
Yeah. There was a play that Bryce Oliver had a nice catch at the back of the end zone that counted that he got 2 feet in. That was from Will Levis, correct?
Okay, gotcha. Yes, it was correct on that one.
Yeah.
That was
You're thinking of a Chimray DK catch from Cam in the back of the end zone that a ref standing right there said was incomplete.
No, that was one later in practice.
Oh, we're talking about 3 different plays.
3 different plays, yeah.
We're just confusing
But he
people
got sacked on one from holding on to it. Either way, it was a blitz off the edge. But he needs a change, but he's also got to give himself that opportunity.
He still throws maybe the prettiest deep ball when you're just throwing it into a net from 50 yards. He was the most accurate on that deep ball drill that they ran that we mentioned earlier in practice on just trying to float a ball into the net. Problem is the word float. When you routinely are underthrowing deep balls because you're floating it and it has enough airtime to where defensive backs are catching up to the trajectory of the football. It's either that or, again, the ball's being held onto for far too long. Even the good plays, Ramon, there are times where Levis has got to get rid of it a beat sooner and throw with more anticipation to give his player a chance to run after the catch and not just make the catch.
And it's probably where his eyes are getting him got when it comes to the second level of the defense.
You can tell he is thinking a lot. And again, I don't totally blame him. This is the third offense, the third head coach that he's had as a member of the Tennessee Titans.
Yep.
Unfortunately, as a second-round quarterback, you don't get given grace. You don't get grace and given the time to sort out all those issues.
Nope.
Titanomics with a quick call here before we get to Steve Palazzolo. What's up, Titanomics?
What up, Titanomics?
What it do, my guys?
Not much, man. Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Hey, I think we should give Cam a little bit of grace. This first time I've heard him not being great this offseason so far. Of course, the injury is behind us, but give us some time, give us some grace. I think he will get better. And then, man, we got to give our defense some shine, too. Like, what would a Gus Bradley and Robert Saleh defense look like letting Cam cook every single practice? You know what I mean? But also, Will, congratulations on getting married, man. I'm a marriage coach. I've been married for 15 years. Yes, sir. So,
Marriage-nomics.
Yep. So a little piece of advice that I will give you is always stay curious, my friend. Ask her questions even years later, because we change each and every day. So always stay curious.
I like it.
Tighten up. Go Vols. Y'all have a great rest of your week.
Thank you, Ted.
Bro,
It's a great call.
That is a platinum gem he gave you.
Very good.
No.
I like it.
We'll talk off. That is as real as it gets for the information you got right there.
I totally love it. Thank you,
Titanomics. We're going to learn your real name soon. Your name probably Gerald or Marcus. You might even be Ramon out here, man.
You will not hear anyone here freaking out over one practice. The best case scenario for any football team at any level is that the offense has a day, then the defense has the day, and the pendulum is never stuck on one side and continues to swing back and forth. So.
You know, one thing about Levis, though, too, I'll just add to it. It's there, is what I would say.
That's the whole thing that I think is so frustrating about him. The good moments are still like, wow.
Yeah.
It's a great throw.
They are.
He has the ability when I don't want to do the whole Levis thing again, but like, it is still true that when his primary target is open, he locks onto him, makes an on-time throw. He can be accurate. He can deliver passes that not a lot of quarterbacks have the physical traits and tools to deliver. It's just all upstairs. And it's just doing that on time consistently over and over and over and over. I mean, it's the Tom Brady quote. Like, in order to be elite at something, it's not a matter of talent. It's a matter of doing the monotony and the consistency of that. I'm paraphrasing, but like it's a matter of being elite over and over and over and over and over. It's not being elite once.
Boring is good.
Yeah. And the same thing can be said about Cam. We're just earlier in the process with Cam. He gets more time to figure it out because he's only 2 years in, or 1.5 years in.
Yeah.
Steve Palazzolo of the 33rd team joins us next.
It's Ramon and Will here for Window Nation.
That's right.
If your air conditioner never seems to turn off, worn out windows could be the culprit, y'all. Broken seals and old frames, they let the cold air escape. And with the summer just getting started, it's only going to get hotter. I think we had a dew point of over 70% yesterday, which is sticky, which means your house may be sticky. Act now, Will, before your energy bill skyrocket, my brother.
Yeah, absolutely, Ramon should act now with this great sale from Window Nation. Buy 4 windows, get 4 free. You could replace all the windows in your home and get half of them free. It's kind of a great deal that you get when you trust Window Nation. Get 0 down payment and no payments or interest for 2 years as well during uncertain times. It's one of the best investments you can make in your home. WindowNation.com. That's the website. Get that A+ rating for the BBB and over 45,000 5-star reviews. And hurry, because this sale ends soon. Buy 4 windows, get 4 free online at WindowNation.com. Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone continues as the Titans get set to hit the practice field again here in about an hour and a half. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling, pleased to be joined by our very good friend, Steve Palazzolo of the 33rd Team. Check the Mic, a must-download for every NFL fan, wherever you download podcasts. What's up, Steve? How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me back, guys.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Interesting, the discussion always on Cam Ward, Steve. As you know, he has always been a bit of a divisive prospect. The Titans clearly, and their offensive coordinator clearly, on the side of him being a big talent and future franchise quarterback. When you watch the film on Cam Ward in 2025, where do you consistently see the best moments that you want to see him build on heading into year 2 and year 1 under Brian Daboll?
I think you see some of the special plays that he had both at Washington State, Miami. I think you see not enough of those, but you see the flashes, his ability to either throw through traffic or, throw on the run, pinpoint downfield throws. I just want to see more opportunities throwing the ball down the field. Again, I come back to last season as a whole for the Titans. What a challenge it was, the most difficult schedule for passing offenses. Playing the Texans twice, playing Seattle, playing the Rams. It just the Broncos, to kick things off. It felt like in a year of defense last year, the Titans had to face all of those teams and sometimes multiple times, right? I mean, it was crazy. And they weren't equipped. And look, football is not as simple as I saw this last pattern, therefore it's going to look exactly the same. But I know Titans fans are looking at the Patriots last year and what they did in year 2 under Drake May, because the similarities in year 1 where Drake May went out there with a bottom 5 offensive line, a bottom 5 group of receivers, and they didn't look awful. He wasn't great. Stats weren't great, but Drake May didn't look awful. He looked competent. And then they built around him and they go to a Super Bowl. And I think the Titans, I don't even know that they made those types of changes this offseason, but it's encouraging to see with rookie receivers, inconsistent receiving group. Okay, offensive line was okay last year. It was fine. Okay running game that Cam Ward was able to hold his own and overall, not look like he was completely over his head, especially as the season went on and, showed some improvement.
Steve Palazzolo of the 33rd Team, our guest. To that point, Steve, we've talked this morning a lot about the completion percentage and just the accuracy questions with Cam Ward, because there were just so many footballs last year that were hitting the ground where maybe we felt like he didn't give his receiver enough of a chance to go make a play at time last season as well. At 59.8% completion percentage, and with the challenges around him and the defenses he faced, is accuracy a big concern for you when it comes to Cam Ward?
So completion percentage isn't always a direct proxy for accuracy. Obviously, You've got to throw the ball accurately to catch the ball, but you need opportunities. Sometimes it's, check down heavy offenses. Sometimes receivers obviously have to get open. So there's a lot that goes into it. So I think you can deal with a few misses if you're going to be a little bit more on the aggressive side. So I think about this with, I use the word volatile, but, boom or bust type of quarterbacks, guys that can stretch the field, get the ball down the field, but maybe don't, hit as many underneath throws, or the ball location isn't as good. But, to offset that, you want to get those chunk plays. So I don't care if the completion percentage is down a little bit. It's got to be higher than 59. I mean, that was average for like the early 2000s, 65 is like below average these days. So that definitely, you would want to bump that up. You just get a couple more completions, you stay on schedule. But I think for Cam, again, it's more about those 20-plus yard throws, those 15-plus yard throws, attacking down the field a little bit more. Then you can handle a few of the misses because you're at least flipping the field a couple times per game, or at least giving yourself the opportunity. So, yeah, you'd like to tidy up some of the accuracy stuff, but that completion percentage gets bumped up when more receivers are getting open, Carnell Tate's winning at the catch point, and Cam Ward's getting more comfortable in the offense, knowing when to take those shots and when to, get the ball out underneath and just take 5 yards.
Talking to Steve Palazzolo of the 13 this morning. Steve, appreciate you being with us today, man. This football season never ends, okay?
That's right. That is right.
Man, so it's fascinating having a completion percentage conversation. I've kind of correlated what I would want Cam's second year to be to Caleb Williams. I can't get off of this one, okay? Caleb last year only completed 58% of his passes.
but they had a very successful season. He had game-winning drives. How do you compartmentalize saying throw the ball away, take less sacks, but also you're going to have a terrible completion percentage as a quarterback? Is that growth, or is that what people like to say, the system?
No, cutting down on sacks is huge, and it's a funny world. Like it is. I remember watching overall, just generally, guys, it's a funny world. But like I remember watching Kirk Cousins for much of his career, thinking this dude is calculating his passer rating in his head as he plays. Right, like his team is down 3 scores, and he's just checking down, and he's like, "Man, I'm going to get over 100 this game." And he's struggling the whole game, and at the end of the game, he's got like 100 passer rating and couple garbage time touchdowns. I'm like, this dude is playing to his stats. Mm-hmm. And my point there is, do quarterbacks, are they like afraid to throw the ball away and it hurts my passer rating? I think we're beyond that, hopefully, as a society. And we're learning sack rate matters more, and actually winning the game matters more. So that was what Caleb did really well last year. The jump in sack rate, or the lowering of his sack rate from like 10% of dropbacks to like 4%. Right. That doesn't normally happen. That was unbelievable. So Caleb Williams did learn how to play within himself, but his completion percentage was also low because he did miss open throws. Ben Johnson was dialing it up, and like he normally does, hitting those open dig routes 20 yards down the field, and he's airmailing them. So it was this combination of Caleb Williams definitely kept the offense on schedule, but also had these open throws that he missed. If Cam Ward was doing something like that, where it's like, yeah, he's missing some throws, we want to tidy up the footwork a little bit, but we're cutting down on that sack rate. We're not getting into 2nd and 17s. We're not getting into 3rd and 15s. I think that would be great growth. And that's a combination of getting the ball out on time. And I mentioned this to you guys last year. I want to see Cam use his legs, right? And it's always a tricky balance with quarterbacks, whether it's a couple keepers here and there. I don't want to see him play like Jackson Dart did with Dayball, where it's like, all right, QB power counter downhill. Let's go, baby. We don't need that from Cam Ward, but well-timed scrambles. And I'll say this is what Jaden Daniels does really well. He has a really high completion percentage because when something's not there, instead of throwing it away, he picks up 5. He's just got a really good feel for when to pick up 5, when to force a throw in there, when to not force it. And so I think that's the balance, is figuring out, hey, the play's dead. I could throw it away, but what if I just picked up 3 or 4 with my legs? Finding those balances to always just keep, positive plays as much as possible.
Man, we had a listener earlier kind of point out Matthew Stafford, he lived in the 50%. So I was like, yeah, right. Then I look, Matthew Stafford, first 4 years in the league, he was in 50% completion percentages. 5 years he was. 4 of the 5 years he lived around 58, 59% completion percentage. With that being said, I've been of the mindset for the Titans this year, Cam doesn't need to be the main character. The main character for this team should be the defense. Do you believe in that, Steve, or are you of the mindset like, no, this is Cam Ward's team because the NFL tells us the number 1 overall quarterback needs to be front and center each and every weekend?
I mean, the quarterback's always going to be the most important player. Even if you look at Seattle last year and how they played, it's not like they were just dragging Sam Darnold every single week. He's been outstanding for 2 straight years outside of a couple games. So it's always going to be, I know the phrase QB-driven league, but it's really tough to win without good quarterback play. Even if you look at, just look at Houston. I think Houston's defense was the best I've seen in the last 10 years. Best since the Broncos in 2015. Yeah. And they lost in the playoffs because C.J. Stroud imploded. So look, the defense has to be good. It's a team game. The defense has to be better. I think Saleh did a really nice job with very little talent last year in San Francisco, with no Fred Warner, with no Nick Bosa, with no pass rush. They got beat up at times in the run game and gave up a lot through the air, but given the personnel, it was really impressive. The defense absolutely needs to take a step forward. You need a little bit from the run game. You need receivers to step up. Cam Ward absolutely needs the help. But I think where this team potentially becomes special, if they're league average at everything supporting cast-wise, if Cam Ward pulls out some of that late game magic, what you hinted at from Caleb Williams, that's what turns this team into 6 or 7 wins to, hey, maybe they can win 9 or 10 if Cam Ward starts to really put the team on his back in crunch time. And I think that's what you're looking for. It doesn't have to be an MVP caliber year, but hey, go make some plays in crunch time if everybody else helps keep it close.
Steve Palazzolo, our guest from the 33rd team. Check the mic, available wherever you download podcasts. Steve, who is most vulnerable in the AFC South? You mentioned Houston. If they even just get like B-level play from their offensive line, it feels like they could be a Super Bowl contender again. Jacksonville's drafted a Y tight end with their top draft pick this year. and then you've got Indy, who kind of has like Last Dance vibes for Chris Ballard and for all of the guys that are on expiring contracts there. Who could the Titans scare in the AFC South this season?
Oh, man. So the Jags are interesting because I definitely think they overachieved.
Right.
And when you get a first-year head coach who did a really nice job, the most impressive thing to me for the Jags is they had an epic second-half collapse against the Texans around midseason. And I thought it could absolutely derail their season. It was Davis Mills making a comeback. They blew like a 3-touchdown lead, whatever it was. And they didn't lose, I don't think, after that. They were unbelievable. Like, they turned it around. And I think that speaks to Liam Cohen and what he did with Trevor Lawrence. But it's 1 year of him as head coach. We were saying the same thing about Brian Daboll when he had his first year. It's like, man, they didn't have a ton of talent, but they won 11 games with Daniel Jones. Unbelievable. This guy's, the next great coach. And so you never really know. But the Jags feel like a regression candidate, and not just because they had a draft that everybody was questioning. Like, that stuff doesn't really matter a ton for this year. It just felt like they overachieved, and it's going to be tough to replicate. But I'm going to look at the Colts, though. They've just been the most consistently mid-tier team in the NFL over the last 3 or 4 years. Just solid across the board roster, no flash, nothing special, quarterback questions, and they've got the same quarterback questions. Daniel Jones played great for about 8 weeks, got hurt multiple times, multiple injuries, and that's not new for him, and now he's coming off his injury. So the Colts I feel the worst about, I would say, as far as the South competitors for the Titans, just because I think the roster is just solid across the board, and I don't know if that's good enough with Daniel Jones, despite how good they looked that first 7 or 8 weeks of the season.
Steve, man, I kind of want to blend worlds a little bit, man. College and the NFL. Where are you at in this world of integrity of just sports with the Brendan Sorsby and Texas Tech side of things? Like, he just got, allowed to play and suspended for 2 games. If he'd have gone into the supplemental draft, are you taking a shot? Does the NFL give him the Terrell Pryor treatment and suspend him for 6 games or 8 games? How do you parse through his situation, man?
I'm fully aware, by the way, that like our podcast is sponsored by FanDuel, and everybody's like, "Look at you speaking morality on this kid," as powered by FanDuel. So fully aware, self-awareness here. I got this, but I think it's a really interesting one for the NFL because they don't want to deal with that at all.
No,
they don't want to deal with the Pete Rose betting on your own team stuff, right? And they've had guys suspended for betting on an app in the facility on, tennis or whatever, something completely obscure. And so I don't know how they look through this. I think and I say they, the NFL, like I'm talking the league probably has to do their due diligence that this is well in the past for Brendan Sorsby, that he's changed. We all love a good redemption story. Right. I think half the world wants to see it, everything burn, and then it's like, no, redemption, right? And figure it out. But I want to see the redemption story, but the NFL, I think, is going to be so cautious. They cannot they don't want to deal with integrity of the game whatsoever, nor should they. The NCAA, I don't even know, whatever's just happened with the NCAA and judges, like there's no overriding like best practices for the game of college football. No, there's no commissioner, right? Josh Pate is not commissioner yet, dropping the hammer on everybody. So the NFL is going to be cautious with this. And then if you're a team, if you think about the suspension piece, if something came up and he got suspended, I don't think you're talking 6 games. I think you're talking lifetime. So it's crazy because if an NFL team's looking at a prospect and they're like, oh, he's got domestic violence or he's got this or he's got that, they're like, a little cautious, but there could be a suspension at some point. But you figure out how to weigh that. If Sorsby falls again, and he bet on his own team for some reason, like that's got to be lifetime suspension, right? So that would be the risk, I think, for an NFL team. And I'm not saying that's worse than domestic violence or anything. I'm just saying how the NFL probably would look at it. Integrity of the game versus, character or whatever. I think they're going to lean toward, they have to really drop the hammer if something comes up again. And I think every NFL team has to has to weigh that if they're looking at Sorsby when he comes out.
I think you make a good point, though, too. Like, the NFL has allowed domestic violence stuff for players to redeem themselves, or alcohol or drug abuse. Like, I'll say this. I think you can track those. You can track if there's domestic issues going on. Eventually, it's going to show. With gambling, the fact that he was sending money back to Indiana to have his teammates gamble for him, like, you can slide that under the radar, and it creates that trust issue that fans will have about, are you betting this week? You know, like, you can't really track that one the way you can alcoholism, domestic abuse, and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying. The NFL is going to look at this and say, we can't have millions and millions of fans questioning the product versus, a little bit of bad press because of, again, I'm not trying to equate any of those things. I'm saying the NFL's perspective is going to be, and you're on the committees and all that stuff, Ramon. I mean, the NFL's perspective is going to be, we have to protect the integrity of the game. So if there's any kind of slip up, if the Browns draft Sorsby and he slips up, it's not like, we missed him for 6 games, he'll be back. It might be, okay, he's suspended forever, and we just wasted a draft pick.
That's a great point. I totally agree. Steve Palazzolo, our guest. Check the mic, a tremendous resource. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere you get podcasts, you can check the mic with Steve and our friend Sam Monson. Steve, always a pleasure, sir. Thank you as always.
Man. Hope to see you in Nashville this summer.
Oh, yeah, I'll be out there this August. Thanks, guys.
Love it. Sir. Yes, sir. Steve Palazzolo with us here this morning. And, that's an angle I'd not really thought about, but I do think it's a legitimate one on the whole integrity of the game discussion. And the NFL has just showed us its stripes on that.
They kind of have.
They take integrity of the game and gambling and all of that very seriously. And whether or not you agree with it or not, it's the reality of the situation that they see that as an occupational challenge to overcome versus a personal one. And we can argue till we're blue in the face about whether personal misconduct should or shouldn't be punished more severely by the NFL, who is propping up role models as citizens and as people because they have the avenue to play football and become influential figures. And I do think that situations of domestic violence and personal misconduct should be taken more seriously because football is a platform for you to become a role model in this country to young people, to adults alike. But they have set the precedent that at times, because it is more of a black and white rule broken versus he said, she said. Again, speaking in terms of what the NFL has shown us, not speaking about my personal opinion, the gambling stuff is easier for them to enforce because you either broke the rule or you didn't. There's no gray area. You either made the bet or you didn't. And so those suspensions are weighed very heavily, and they act in the abundance of caution.
They do.
Please don't take any of that out of context, anybody who's listening. We are not condoning anything.
Go back and listen to
within any of it. Yeah, it's just, it is easier to prove or disprove, let's say that, on the gambling front versus stuff that happens outside of facilities that's dealt with in a court of law.
We just had to do like some HR stuff about trust.
Yeah, and
like trust.
And we have to walk on pins and needles talking about this because, again, y'all can tune in, and I don't blame you. You can tune into 30 seconds and you're like, oh, are you saying guys shouldn't be suspended for domestic violence? No.
They should.
No. They should. They should be.
Yes.
I think the NFL should take situations like that more cautiously and seriously. 100%. But the way that they adjudicate the betting stuff is a little bit more cut and dry because you can either see on the app that you made the bet or you didn't. So, anyway. That is that. 615-737-1045. Final call for phone calls. Big hire in college baseball that just happened. Some ripple effects you'll see in the SEC. We'll talk about next. Wrapping up the show on Ramon and Will, we will have more Titans OTA takes for you tomorrow.
Those nuggies.
As they hit the practice field again in just over an hour, so stay tuned. Be locked in. Kevin Schnall, the Coastal Carolina baseball coach, is headed to South Carolina, reportedly.
Mm-hmm.
Big time get for the Gamecocks, who are expected to reinvest again to be good at baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, another team spending major baseball money.
Who fired their coach early in the season?
Paul Maneri, who never made sense as a head coach there.
Yeah.
The longtime LSU coach, a national championship winning LSU coach.
Man, it's twofold for me on this one. Schnall leaving Coastal, who was just in the College World Series. One, there was reports that he wanted the Tennessee job, and then he takes the South Carolina job a year later. Less than a year later, everybody's searching for something. In this industry of college sports, everybody's trying to find their next spot. And you mentioned, so it's like, why would he in such a hurry to leave Coastal? Resources, money, funds.
South Carolina is still a traditional baseball power. They are still a team that has won a national title, which means so is Coastal, to be fair. But
I know. That's what's fascinating about the approach to the move. But SEC baseball just got a little bit more interesting.
Sure did.
The Johnsons down in LSU, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them. Not that there's anything that's going to happen.
But by Johnsons.
Isn't it their names? Like Ben Johnson, the head coaches of South Carolina baseball. LSU baseball.
Oh, Jay Johnson.
Jay Johnson.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if one of them take the step to the next level. And also, what is their readjustment? They had an underwhelming season according to their standards. Mm-hmm. They are always a good team. They crushed, I thought, in the portal, and it just didn't hit for them this year, too.
They got the portal wrong.
They did.
Right.
Going to be interesting to see how this all comes to a head in SEC play. Who's going to pour money into it?
Justin, who's winning the hockey tonight?
Oh, my money's on Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a back and forth
2-2 series.
Yeah, this is an exciting series.
Nice.
I don't see either team losing 2 in a row, which would mean Vegas would have to win the whole thing if they're going to go in that suit. But yeah, I'm going to give the edge to Carolina. They're actually a little bit of a slight favorite tonight at minus 115.
Okay.
Vegas is still minus money as well, minus 105 the last time that I looked. But the home crowd, Carolina's got their own kind of big crowd so they know what hostile environments are like.
Mm-hmm.
My money's on Carolina tonight. I think they're going to use their high-power offense and get it done.
Elsewhere this morning, an hour ago, it was reported by Andrew Marchand of the New York Times and The Athletic that Pat McAfee and ESPN are negotiating a $60 million per year deal.
Let it breathe.
$60 million per year.
Football could have never paid him that.
He punted in football.
I got upset
$60
last
million.
night, too, because I left it on the ESPN, NBA on ESPN.
Yeah, they were doing a Pat McAfee cast on ESPN. Who's that for?
Did that throw you off?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And they kept showing it on a lower third graphic on ABC. Like, yeah, I know. That's why I'm on ABC.
And I messed with Pat.
Yeah, and nothing personal against Pat. He is, I don't dislike him nearly as much as most
not even
people
at all.
do. But $60 million?
Who's asking for that?
I also saw the headline over the weekend that there's more layoffs expected at ESPN. I'm dead serious.
Just make Pat do all the work.
That's where they're punting.
Pretty much what's going on. Back at it tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. More OTA takeaways. We will talk to you then, bright and early, 6 o'clock.
Well, remember, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always high.